Hey, you guys, it's Wednesday. It's party time.
Cookies back there attacking the fish.
She's playing with,
attacking the robot
with
fish.
the floppy fish. That's what that noise is. I forgot it was in here. The other one broke and then Tom fixed it, but I think it's broken again.
She broke it again. She lays on him. It breaks the
She's not that heavy.
Yeah.
It's like you'd think she was like fat or something. She's not fat. She only weighs like 10 pounds.
That's enough to break that, though. It's just made out of plastic.
I guess so.
So, what's everybody doing? Let's see who's in here.
Yeah.
Okay, DJ's in here. Zach's in here.
I didn't put any music in the background because the last 2 times I put music in the background, and even though it said it was safe for copyright, I still got a copyright. Not a strike, but it was just like a warning, and it was
he
just
probably
kind of
copyrighted that shit because he knew you get charged for it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck it. We can't hear the shit anyway, so it's like, you know, the way this program works.
I'd like to put something back there at least, but...
Well, I don't know. I'll have to find some fucking rain sounds or something.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just record some rain sounds.
Yeah.
And then we won't get... I'll just go outside when it rains.
Yeah.
And I'll just record it, and then I can put it in the background. Oh no, I have a better idea. I'll record you just like humming in the background, just
make a song out of that.
Yeah. And then I'll just put that in the background.
Put a beat to it.
Yeah, there you go. And then I'll just be like, come at me, copyright bitches.
Right.
I made that shit.
So, we gotta talk about that movie right there.
We gotta talk about lots of things.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, Sabrina asked if you were feeling better today.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm not feeling like on top of my game, but I'm okay. Yeah.
You seemed to sleep well again last night. You didn't wake up coughing.
No, I'm not coughing. I just got like an infection in my nose. You know, my sense of smell's fucked up. Nothing really tastes right. You know.
Yeah, he hasn't really eaten hardly anything
much.
The last like 2 or 3 days because everything tastes like ass.
Yeah, just fucking bland shit like leek soup.
Well, leek soup is good though. I had some as well. It was delicious.
Yeah, eating that soup and had a ham and cheese sandwich. That was it. That's all I can take. Anything spicy just doesn't taste right.
Well,
bacon didn't taste right. And you know, if bacon doesn't taste right, then fucking you might as well not even eat.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
I was gonna say.
Come on. Like bacon?
Well, I might as well just die.
Yeah.
I can't even taste bacon correctly.
Might as well give up on that shit. So, I don't know. I don't have any idea how long this show is going to be tonight. But I'm just going to try to drink my way through it.
You can do it. You'll be in a better mood when you get kind of like, you know, a little bit into the shit.
Yeah, we'll see.
Pookie's out there playing in the box. I just got one of my new games.
She's been jumping back and forth.
For the box, and like it had all... She's like, a box with noisy paper in it? Oh,
Show me a new game.
God.
She made a new
this
game.
just came. It's not up for sale yet because I literally just got it like 10 minutes ago. Like, this is a proof copy. But yeah, this one is a board game too. And this is called Gorgon's Lair. Ooh. Obviously.
Back off the camera so they can see
Greek
all
mythology based.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty rad.
Show them the back.
You get to like fight little monsters and whatnot.
Yeah. Back off of the camera.
I know. I'm trying to.
Okay.
Get everybody so they can see the little details and shit.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
You can play little different colored Persei, I'm assuming. And you have to go and fight like all these little Greek monsters on the back here, or on the board here. It's a big board. And then you have little cards that, you know, they're called gods and monsters, and you either get like cool shit like from Zeus or like winged sandals and whatnot, or you get shit on by the gods, you know. Like while you're fighting and stuff. But yeah, super fun. But yeah, I'm gonna put that up for sale later on. But yeah, I just got it today, so that was like pretty quick. I only have a few games left that I haven't proofed yet. You know, so I'm kind of like having fun with that. I still gotta finish that Halloween one. God damn it! Like I said, it's almost done. It's just the board has about like 15% more, and then I just have to make the box, and then it'll be finished.
Can you guys hear us? Just wondering if you guys can hear us, because you're actually not. You're speaking real low. I don't know if they can hear us.
It's fine.
Is it fine? All right. I can barely hear you. I'm sitting over here, but you know, maybe my ears.
That's all right. No one cares what I'm saying anyway.
It just sounds like mumbling, and maybe it's just maybe it's because of my cold or something. But
DJ Maniac says, you make games and books, I make custom action figures. I just have to figure out how to monetize my operation.
Yeah.
I wonder, is there anything like that you can... I mean, there has to be something. Like, there has to be some kind of company that you can outsource, like a 3D printing company or something like that, like, is that you can make, like, the pieces. But it seems like it would be a lot more complicated, because, like, even making the board games, because I use a Game Crafter, I don't think that's the only one out there, but I've been using that one for years and years. And they're good, like, they have, like, zillions of different components, and then they have, like, a whole bunch of stuff you can pick, like, little pre-made pieces and shit, like, you know, little Dungeons and Dragons, like, little metal figures and shit like that, all different colored dice, all different shit you can pick. And then they have, like, a line of stuff that you can customize also. So it's pretty cool. It's like, I really enjoy designing those, like I said, because I think it kind of, like, puts together my love of writing, like, coming up with a story, and also graphic design and making a bunch of components that are all, like, thematically linked. I'm really into that for some reason.
Yeah, making action figures, that's a dying genre, though, now. I mean, shit, you know, my friend made all those action figures behind me, all those Japanese action figures. And the toys don't sell. Not to kids. Kids don't want toys. Kids
I don't think anybody's...
They don't grow up with those anymore. Everything's all electronics.
Well, I always figured when people say they make action figures, I always thought they made them for collectors.
Yeah,
that's fuck
what
kids,
it is.
man.
It's always,
shit's ruined on kids.
It's all adult collectors now, and the shit's fucking super expensive. And it's not retail, because the retail market's fucking trash. So it's all, you know, direct market. Some of the shit's fucking custom. Like, you know, they had some professional fucking toy makers make the whole ship from the Mandalorian, and you had to spend a certain amount of money to get it. I think it was $300 a head.
Yeah.
And then once they got a certain amount, then they put them into production. They made him. What was the name of that thing? The something blade. What was the name of his ship? Do you remember?
The Razor Crest.
Razor Crest. That's what it was. Yeah, they made that Razor Crest. It's fucking. It looked awesome. I don't know if it's in production yet, but.
Well, honestly, I think the way to go is more niche marketing. I mean, I've been saying that for, like, years and years.
Yeah.
You just have to find your audience.
Yeah.
And make, you know, I feel like mass producing stuff like that is
Waste
just
of
not
time.
the way to go.
Nope.
Like, it's better to make, like, DJ Maniac just said his pieces are one of a kind and unique.
Yep.
See, I think that's, like, as long as you can find your right audience and find, like, some way of producing it that's not going to, like, put you in the poorhouse, I think that's kind of the way to do it. Because I think people are more... You know, even nowadays when people have less money, I feel like people want things that are, like, individual to them, you know what I mean? Or, like, you know, they want something that other people don't have, or there's not that many of them. They don't just want the same old shit everyone else has got, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that's kind of like, that's what I figure, that's what I do with my games and shit like that. It's like, you know, they're expensive, but I don't know. I have fun doing it, and I figure if people like them, then that's cool, you know? I'm not worried about it. It's just something I do on the side every now and then. Yeah. What?
Let's talk about that movie we saw.
Yeah, he's just like, he's in a cranky mood.
I'm not in a cranky mood. It's just that, you know, come on.
Here. There you go.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, I forgot who sent this to me. I thought it was Hernandez, but it wasn't. Somebody else sent this to me. It's a movie. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it, and fucking Dwayne Johnson's in it. All right. It's called Pain and Gain, and that movie was fucking awesome. It's a true crime flick about Florida. It's taking place down in Miami, and the guy's Mark Wahlberg. He plays a kind of like a musclehead fucking gym teacher, not gym teacher. What's good? A trainer, personal trainer.
Yeah, he's a personal trainer.
And he fucking gets it in his fucking head that he goes to a motivational speaker.
I love that motivational speaker in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, what was his name? Johnny Woo or something like that. It's like he had these big banners that like all your friends are losers and like get off your lazy American ass. I think was one of the things that the ad said.
So this motivational speaker gets him all fucking amped up.
It's super funny.
To become fucking rich and powerful. And of course, how do you do that? Well, you fucking steal it. You know what I mean? That's what comes to this guy's mind. So one of his clients is like this. Was he Venezuelan? Colombian. He was a Colombian Jewish guy who was in the gym all the time. He was training him, and he just didn't like the guy. The guy was fucking real obnoxious, kind of a fucking asshole, you know. Fucking had all this money, so he decided he was gonna kidnap this guy and get him to sign over all of his fucking money to him. And he recruits these other fucking muscleheads to do it. And it's a real Florida fucking crime.
Yeah, some of the shit was changed, but surprisingly not that much.
And what was funny is that all the fucking ridiculous shit that happened in the movie actually did happen. They said that at the trial, people were fucking laughing. You know, how crazy these guys were. And they did it once, and that wasn't enough. They had to do it a couple more times. I think they did it again. They eventually got caught, though.
Yeah.
And, it's just fucking unreal. I mean, they steal millions of dollars worth of fucking houses and money from this guy, and they're living in his house. It's just ridiculous. You're gonna steal this dude's house. You're gonna live in it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna.
They
get
didn't
caught.
even like try. They didn't even like attempt to escape.
They didn't even attempt to escape.
Which is what you would think that's what you would do. Like if you were gonna do something like this. Just a pro tip for any criminals out there. Probably the best thing would be to like abscond from the country. That's just my recommendation.
No, they just stayed right there and pretended like they didn't
stayed in the dude's house.
Yeah, pretend like they didn't do anything wrong. I mean, these dudes are fucking real simpletons, but man, it was a fucking excellent movie.
Honestly, it was like super, super funny. Now, like one of the best lines in the whole, I'm sure I'm like, saying it wrong, but it was like Ed Harris who played like this private investigator, because I want to get a little bit into the real case too, because that shit's fucking insane. But he's playing like this private investigator that actually like got the police, to look into this. And he says at the very end, like with the end of the trial, when they're saying like what all the dudes, what sentences they all got and everything, he said they were convicted of this, that, and the other thing. And he's like, in fact, the only thing that they weren't convicted of is the one thing that they were most guilty of, being stupid, dumb fucks. Yeah. And it's like, so the thing about it, so they made it into, this is a dark comedy. And like I said, it's directed by Michael Bay, but don't let that dissuade you. Because this was, I guess.
Don't let that dissuade you.
Well,
good movies.
Yeah. I'm just saying that a lot of people are like, oh, Michael Bay is just going to be like 3 hours of explosions. No, thank you. But, he just has a little bit of a reputation like that. But the thing about it, though, is that when he makes kind of a smaller movie like this only cost $24 million, which obviously is a lot more money than I'll ever see in my entire lifetime or the next several lifetimes, but is really, really cheap for a Michael Bay movie, obviously. This was like a passion project for him, I guess. Like he said the script was sitting on my shelf for like 12 years and I wanted to do it, but I kept getting, like, the studio was like, hey, you have to do Transformers, or hey, you have to do this like 300 million bloated ass behemoth, and he's just like, well, shit. So it kept getting pushed back, but finally he got to do it, and he was very excited.
But it was like 2013, I think.
2013 it came out, yeah. I had never heard about it, and it's weird because I live in Florida, and I've grown up here my whole life, and I don't remember, I kind of vaguely remember this case, but I guess I wasn't really paying attention to the news at the time. Maybe.
I think it was in the 90s when it happened. That was 1994.
1995. I think it happened 94, 95, somewhere around there. So
yeah,
I think
just got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, I think I was too busy. I was like in college. I was like fucking, going to gigs and shit like that. So it's like probably I wasn't even like.
I was just coming out of the army, so Yeah. And Miami area was just known just being. It was still kind of like the Miami Vice era back then. You know what I mean? Fucking that wasn't that far gone. Fucking. Miami's wild. It used to be a lot wilder, but, Miami's fucking wild. You never can tell what's going to happen down there. Matter of fact, in the making of the movie, these are all fucking... These guys are all California guys, coming down here to make this movie. And they were just, like, real fucking shocked by Florida culture,
Well, and also how hot and humid it was.
How hot and humid it was.
And I feel you.
They're like, everybody's carrying guns. Like, 2 guns, Yeah. They go to the gun store and shit and fucking,
Well, yeah, because that was a real gun store they used. Yeah, well, a lot of the locations they used were real locations.
Real locations, fucking. And
they didn't really do much.
Miami's got some really fucking cool gun stores, fucking assault rifles all over the fucking walls and, You can buy all this fucking cool shit, and they're just not really used to seeing that in California. But oh man, fucking Florida's fucking wide open with all that.
Sheila said they did the case on 48 Hours. I actually watched that earlier today, so I saw it's on YouTube somewhere. But it's funny because even though this movie is hilarious, you do have to think, like, in the actual case, like, a dude did get kidnapped and tortured for a month, and he lost all his shit. Yeah. And also 2 people got murdered and dismembered. Yeah. So.
And what's funny is, like,
you know,
the dude got tortured and got all of his fucking shit stolen, and then he goes to the cops. The cops didn't believe him. We're like, get out of here.
Well, because it's, I mean,
get the fuck out of here.
I'm not defending.
That's Florida as fuck.
I'm not defending the cops, but it did sound like an implausible story.
Yeah, they're like, no, it didn't happen.
Because it is an implausible story.
Yeah. They're living in my house. They're like.
Basically, I mean, I don't know exactly what happened, like, when he came out, because he was in a coma for a while, I think. Yeah. And when he came out of it, and he was, like, all fucking beat up. I mean, he was, like, on the fucking verge of death. We'll get into, like, but
he was Colombian, too, so they were like, yeah, right.
They thought it was, like,
a drug dealer.
Right, which he wasn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the thing about it, though, and I'll get into this in a minute, too, was he was involved in some illegal activity, but... it was like it was like white collar. It was like Medicare fraud or some shit like that. Yeah. But it wasn't like drug related. But so I mean, in the movie they show him just kind of like coming to, and then basically the first thing that he says is, "I was kidnapped by ninjas and they took all my stuff," which. Like I said, it sounds stupid, but it was true. I mean, the dudes were dressed up.
Dudes were dressed up as ninjas and on one time, one of the dudes. It was 2 dudes dressed up as ninjas and 1 dude dressed up like a E.T.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was like... The thing about it is that what they did for the movie, like, I guess to make it funnier and to make it simpler, because the actual case was a lot more complicated and there were a lot more people involved. Like, they call it the Sun Gym Gang. There were actually a hell of a lot more of them than 3 people. There were at least 7 people, or at least 7 that did time. I don't know if there were other ones that were like on the periphery or whatever. And the thing about the dude that they kidnapped at first, whose real name I think was Mark Schiller, I want to say. Yeah. I think they didn't say what his real, and that wasn't the character's name in the movie. Some of the characters were the same, but like character names were the same, but some of the ones they changed from real life. So basically that guy, I don't think that guy went to the gym. You know what I mean? Basically he knew another guy named Joseph Delgado, I think. And Joseph Delgado was like was that dude's personal trainer or personal assistant or something like that. And Joseph Delgado went to that gym and was friends with Lugo, who Mark Wahlberg plays in the movie. So it was kind of like a secondhand, like, hey, I know this guy, like I work for this guy. I know like all the codes to his house, like how to get in his house and all this other kind of shit. And that's how they ended up doing it. I don't think that guy personally like came to the gym, but like I said, I can see why they did that for the movie because that's like much easier.
Made more sense in the movie, yeah.
And like I said, the character that The Rock plays, I think his name is Paul Doyle or something like that. That dude didn't exist. He was just like an amalgamation of some of the other people. Like I said, so they could make it more focused. Because like I said, there was like a whole bunch of dudes, and like they weren't all involved in every aspect of it. You know what I mean?
It's funny, man. After they kidnapped the dude, they kept him in a warehouse, and fucking it was a warehouse full of fucking sex toys and fucking X-rated shit. That's where they had it kept.
Yeah, that was Joseph Delgado's warehouse, but I don't know if it was a sex toy warehouse.
In the movie it was.
In the movie it was, but in real life I don't know. It was just like a warehouse that he had for some business proposition or whatever.
It was just funny. Good movie.
But interestingly, I don't even remember if they did this in the movie, but when they kidnapped the guy, they made 7 attempts to kidnap him. Some of the attempts, the first thing they were going to do was they were all going to dress as ninjas, and they were going to go to his house trick-or-treating on Halloween, and they were going to grab him when he opened the door. And then, for some reason, that didn't come to pass. And then one night, they decided they were just going to snatch him when he came out in the morning to get the newspaper, like, out from the front of his house. So they all put on fucking military tactical gear. and they lay down and they were like crawling across the shit. Like I said, I don't even think this is in the movie, but they were like crawling across his lawn.
They did that. They kind of did it.
They were crawling across his lawn, and then a car went by because it's a neighborhood and there's a street, and they flipped out and they started running down the street going, "Abort! Abort!" Like the investigator said, he's like, what the fuck? It's like they're just running down.
They showed something like that. Remember that they put on all the camouflage stuff and they were out in front of the house in the morning and they ran. They showed that.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't remember that scene. It must have been really short.
Yeah,
but yeah, they were like trying to like hiding in the bushes and shit like that.
Yeah,
but it was fucking it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and you know it's kind of sad, like I said, because they kind of. You know, it's a black comedy. I mean, obviously, like, horrible shit happens in it. Like I said, the dude gets kidnapped and tortured, and, like, also later, 2 people get murdered and, you know, cut up and everything. But they made it, so they didn't make it, like, as horrible as it was in real life, because when they kidnapped that dude, he was chained to a pipe, like, in a bathroom in this warehouse for a month, I think.
Yeah.
And, they didn't feed him sometimes for days at a time. They wouldn't let him go to the bathroom, so he just had to, like, you know, piss and shit on himself. And they would threaten him. They were I'm gonna bring your wife in here and rape her in front of you. And they did that kind of shit. And, you know, they fucking set him on fire. They, like, electrocuted with him tasers. They did, like, all this other kind of shit. But the thing about it was that this dude was a fucking...
He was hardcore.
He was a badass.
He wouldn't give it up. He wouldn't give up the
I
fight.
mean, that's why it took so long. They had to keep torturing him. It took them a month because they were trying to get him to sign over all of his shit, like sign over your house and your car and all this other kind of crap. And so it took them a month to get him to finally do that. And then they were going to kill him, so they plied him with alcohol. In the movie, it was just like, you know, let's pour a bunch of alcohol down his throat. In real life, it was 3 to 5 days. They just kept giving him alcohol and kept giving it, and like sleeping pills and shit like that. And they put him behind the wheel of a car, and then they crashed the car into like a bridge abutment or something like that. And then they tried to set the car on fire, and then the dude climbed out.
Yeah, he still lived.
And started staggering like toward him. And then they ran him over. They like ran him over into a wall. And then they tried to back over him, but then, like, another car came and they flipped out and they left.
Yeah. He was indestructible.
Yeah, and I was just like, holy crap, dude. Like, they interviewed him on the 48 Hours that I saw. And I felt really bad for him. I mean, like, you know.
Well, it was funny. They said he was kind of unlikable.
He didn't seem all that unlikable, like, in real life. But maybe they just kind of made him like that for the movie, so it would be funnier. Life he was
kind of unlikable, but... and the cops didn't believe him, too. You know,
well, because like I said, that's a pretty crazy...
They thought he was a drug dealer.
And the thing about it, too, was that one of the reasons that he was targeted by the Musclehead gang in the first place was because the dude that turned Lugo onto him, Delgado, that other guy that came to the gym, that was like, that worked for him, he said, yeah, I think this dude's involved in, like, some Medicare fraud. Because he owned, like, a medical billing business or something. Like, he did have a Schlotsky's Deli, just like in the movie. That was real. But he had been involved in medical billing, and they thought that he was doing Medicare fraud. So that was something that they could hold against him. So they thought they could blackmail him if they needed to. And so they figured, well, he won't go to the cops. You know what I mean? Which he didn't for a really long time. Although he said that he went to the cops a few times and they didn't believe him, which I buy that. But it was only later, after that other couple had disappeared, the guy that was the Hungarian guy that owned all the phone sex stuff, that was like a millionaire, and his girlfriend, when they disappeared, and then it was like 2 different departments that were working on, because one was working on the kidnapping case, and then one was working on this murder case full of like these fucking bodies that they had found like fucking cut up in barrels in the Everglades. And then they figured out that both of them were related, because as I said, this Sun Gym gang, they were all, you know, gym rats. They were probably all doing steroids.
Oh, they were.
They weren't the brightest bulbs by any stretch of the imagination. And it was just like, they just did the fucking dumbest shit. They were not... I mean, they just didn't really... They had a plan, but it was a really stupid plan. You know what I'm saying?
It was just like something a meathead would just make up just off the top of his fucking head.
Yeah.
And then it was...
They didn't really think it through.
Yeah, it was obvious that they were just making it up as they were going along. As things would happen, they would just try to make up a new response to it. It was just... There wasn't a grand plan. That was the great... That's really the great part of the movie, though. It's just these guys, they really think they're on top of their fucking game. Really, they just think that they're fucking geniuses. And they're just dumbasses. But it's funny, though. They're likable. They said that even in real life that, you know, even while these dudes were getting sentenced to fucking death and shit, people liked them. They were laughing at them. They were just knuckleheads. Fucking knuckleheads.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were. And that's what, like, Michael Bay was saying. Yeah. He's like, one, dumb criminals are always funny, which, yes, that's true. And he was talking about Mark Wahlberg, and he's like, Mark Wahlberg is, like, the best actor to play, like, a really earnest person who thinks they're way smarter than they are, except they're an idiot. Yeah. And he's really, I mean, because, you know, he was in Boogie Nights. Like, Dirk Diggler was kind of a character like that.
It's a very similar kind of character.
It's a very similar kind of character. Like, if you want a character like that, that's your go-to guy, because he's so good at playing that type of character.
What's funny about it is it starts off, okay, he's working in his gym around a bunch of these just fucking, I mean, hotties. These girls just look fucking fantastic. These fitness model type chicks, all right? And he's got a little fucking Fiero, and he's looking great, you know what I mean? And he's really got everything he needs. Yeah. But it's not enough, all right? He's living a good life. And he's already a little bit of an ex-con anyway, you know?
Yeah, he had been convicted of fraud.
Yeah, it wasn't like a big deal. He did like a year or so. I think he did some probation or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But he was actually living a pretty good life. But that wasn't enough for him. He wanted to fucking live like a multimillionaire. He wanted a huge fucking mansion, you know, out there in the best fucking neighborhoods in Miami. You know,
yeah, it's Golden Beach, I think it's called.
You know, he wanted to fucking live the high life, you know. And he was willing to kill other people to get it. Which, you know,
his whole thing.
But he was trying to put like a positive spin on all this.
That's what
I'm a doer. I'm just getting things done. You know.
That's
what
was so weird about it.
It's just like I just have ambitions. You know. It's like all this shit was totally normal. You know.
Well, the thing about it, we're
gonna kidnap this guy and this and that. And eventually, we'll have to kill him. But oh well. You know.
I feel like he had gotten to a point where he thought he worked really hard, like, you know, working out or doing whatever it was that he was doing. And he should have been doing much better. Right. And he didn't understand why people that he perceived as not working as hard as him
had a lot more than
he did, and he thought that he deserved to have that too.
He says a lot. The fucking character in the movie is great because he says a lot of fucking little sayings that have to do with fitness, and he tries to get that to fucking fit in just with his whole plan in life. You know what I mean? That this should all work out because he believes in fitness. Just crazy shit like that, you know what I mean? It just
because
fitness doesn't have anything to do with
because he's an idiot. But I said, I feel like I think that's why the movie works is because even though everything these people did was reprehensible, I mean, you could almost understand how somebody could get to that point. You're like, look, I've spent all this time like working on my body because it is very difficult, and you know, and he was a manager at this gym and everything, but he just felt like he would see these clients come into the gym because he was a personal trainer, and
they had all this money.
They had all this money, and I guess he felt like they didn't deserve it.
I think his take on it is like this: is like, I'm a doer. I believe in fucking fitness and long life and longevity, so therefore I should have all this fucking money. You know what I mean? I should be a winner just all around. I should be a millionaire. Yeah. These other people have millions of dollars and don't care about themselves or their bodies, and they don't even try hard, you know. So why do they have that? You know?
Yeah, that's how he was looking at it.
How did they get that, you know? And he comes out and says, you know, to that dude, he says, I'm taking this from you because I don't want you to have it. Yeah. Basically. You're going to give all your money to me because I don't care, just as long as you don't have it. Yeah. You know. So that was kind of the thinking. But, you know, it's what's... that guy was responding to him like, you know, he told him, he's like, if you'd gone to college, you wouldn't sit around worried about your pectoral muscles. Which that guy was an asshole too. But it was just two different kinds of assholes fucking judging each other. It was fucking funny. Guys that make a lot of money because they have certain behavior patterns that allow them to make a lot of money. And you have to have money to start off with. That helps.
Usually.
Yeah.
Although I will say that the guy that he killed, him and the girlfriend.
Yeah, that was a totally different guy, though.
That was a totally different guy.
Totally
but
different
that guy,
yeah.
Because what ended up happening was that they did actually succeed in getting all of Mark Schiller's shit. They got all his money. They got his cars, and actually it was his he had like a yellow Lamborghini. Was it him or was it the other guy? I can't remember. But that was one of the reasons why they caught him, because that dude was like driving it around or whatever. But once they blew through all that dude's money, okay, like all of Mark Schiller's money. They were living in his house.
Yeah.
They were not only living in his house and partying with like all their Russian girlfriends, like stripper girlfriends and stuff, but they started like a neighborhood watch. They were like training the neighbors,
telling everybody they worked for the government,
telling everybody they were CIA agents. It's like, it was fucking ridiculous. It's like, you should have just left. You probably would have got away with it. But they blew through all that dude's money. It was like $3 million. So it was like some unbelievable amount. And then they said, okay, well, all that money's gone, so we got to do another one. So then they targeted this other guy. Now, this guy, though, he had come to the U.S. from Hungary with $10.
Yeah.
And he started a phone sex empire that ended up being like millions and millions, because this was in the 90s. This was like all these kind of like
you could do that.
976 numbers and all that kind of stuff. So he got in on the ground floor of that kind of shit, and he made tons of money.
Yeah.
And he was only in his 30s. I think he was only like 32, something like that. And his girlfriend was 24, something like that. And
dude that actually fucking pulled himself up from the bootstraps.
Yeah, which, like I said, I don't know what else was going on. Maybe he had family that helped. Maybe he had like other.
In Miami, there's always drugs involved.
Well, that too, and it's like, and I'm sure there's always that, because the thing about it, I think that a lot of the thing about people, oh, I only had $5 in my pocket, and then like now I'm a multimillionaire. It's like, I feel like that's a infinitesimally small percentage of, because you need resources, you need to know. I mean, at least if it's just information. You have to have information. You have to at least know somebody that knows somebody how to make money, because it's like, how the fuck are you just going to be like some homeless bum and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm a multi-million, like you can work your way up. It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen that way. You can give millions of dollars to a poor person with bad habits, and they will have all that money will be gone in a couple of years. And they'll be very unhappy, too. It fucks them up. You can't give a lot of money to a poor person. It fucks them up.
Well, it depends on the poor person that you're talking about.
In general. All you gotta do is just look at fucking people that win lotteries and stuff. Usually it's gone quickly, and they're very dissatisfied when it is, and fucking they didn't really enjoy it. You can give money. You can take some of these rich guys and take all their money away from them, and within a year later they're a millionaire again. It's really more about the behavior and the information that they have and all the connections that they have. That's the
connections.
Main,
I think is the
main thing.
Big thing.
Right.
I mean, if you don't know anybody that knows anything about anything, if you don't know how to make money, if you don't know how to,
you got to have the right friends.
Yeah,
and your
I think
friends
that's
know what the hell's
probably
going on, and you know the whole
thing.
scene, and having money. There's a money scene, and they'll let you in, and if they don't let you in, and you can give money to a guy who has okay habits, and maybe he might be able to turn it into something. But it's better to have fucking well-connected friends than anything else. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I think that's really one of the biggest things.
But there's been a lot of stories, rags to riches stories, where you take somebody that doesn't have a pot to piss in, they win a couple $1 million on the lottery, and then they fucking catch up with them 10 years later, and they're just fucking miserable.
Well, because they don't have any context or framework in how to like spend that or what to do with it.
They lose all their friends and shit.
Well, and the thing about it too is that when you're poor, which I should know as a poor person, if you won like $1 million or $2 million, to you it would seem infinite.
Yeah, it goes fast.
Because you've always had to like scrape like down to the last penny and everything like that. So now suddenly it just seems like you have infinite money.
Yeah, so they do shit like start buying boats and cars and giving shit to the
shit
family
they probably
members,
don't even want.
Then they buy a house, and then the house, bad investments and stuff, and the next thing you know, they can't pay for it all, and then it gets repossessed. They don't really have anything left. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. These guys, they actually successfully. I mean, I don't know if I want to use that word because they tortured a dude to like fucking to get him to sign all his shit away to them, like all his savings and his car and his house and everything. They got all his shit, all his cash, all his assets, his house, all of that, and they proceeded to blow it all in, I think it was only a few months, maybe it was a year or two, but they blew it all on drugs, strippers, parties. They blew it all on that. And then they ended up having to. Well, they felt like they had to kill somebody else later to do it. And the shitty thing about it is that had the police, the Miami-Dade police, actually believed Mark Schiller's story when he woke up from his coma, because they thought, oh, it was just a drunk driving accident. So, like, when he wakes up and says, hey, I was kidnapped by ninjas and they took all my shit, the cops are like, yeah, okay, tell us another one. But if the police had listened to him, then those other people would still be alive. But that wasn't how it happened. It actually ended up having to be, like I said, there was a private investigator, Ed Dubois, I think his name was. Ed Harris played him in the movie. And he actually believed Mark Schiller's case. So he actually went to the cops and was kind of like, hey, you need to like look into this. I believe him. And that was when they started looking into the connection between like the kidnapping and the other thing. Because as I said, as dumb as the meathead dudes were, they actually did at least succeed in making the police believe that this guy had just drunkenly slammed his car into a pole.
Well, I think it was more because the cops didn't think fucking offenders would be that fucking stupid. You know what I mean?
You'd think they would know better by now, though.
Live in another man's house, you stole his shit.
There's volumes of books about stupid criminals, like World's Dumbest Criminals. Yeah. There was a whole TV series. There was a whole series of books.
Dwayne Johnson did a great job in this fucking movie.
He was so good in this.
The Rock plays this guy who's kind of like the main enforcer for the whole fucking gang, and he's a Christian, and he's fucking he's a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he's just a very likable guy in the movie, and they're trying to get him to do all the fucking beating up dudes and trying to get all the killing and stuff.
Also, he's a coke fiend.
And he fucking slides. He gets hooked up with the Russian stripper, and the next thing you know, he starts sliding into cocaine instead of drinking, and then all kinds of fucking funny shit starts happening, and he falls apart, and then he it's just got to see it, man. And he tries to be a good guy. He is a good guy. It's just that he's very weak. You know what I mean? He's easy to manipulate into doing all this stupid shit.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they said about a lot
Christian,
of the...
you know?
Yeah, because like I said, I'm not sure, because his character, as I said, is kind of an amalgamation of several different people that were in the gang.
It's just the character that he plays.
They did say that in real life, Lugo, Daniel Lugo, I think his name was, the Mark Wahlberg character, that he was, as stupid as he was actually like, I guess he was like the smartest one in his group of friends, which wasn't all that smart, but it was like smart enough to be able to just like tell them all what to do.
Yeah.
Because they said that other guy, what was his name? Adorable or whatever his name was, his kind of secondhand dude.
The black guy?
Yeah, although in real life I think he was Puerto Rican or I can't remember.
What was the name of the character what was the name of the actor that played that character?
Mackie,
yeah. Mackie.
Alex Mackie.
Andy Mackie?
Alex, I thought.
Alex Mackie.
It should say on the back. You got your glasses right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I liked the little subplot that they added with Rebel Wilson.
Anthony
okay,
Mackie.
So I knew it started with an A.
Yeah, he does a great job in it too.
We'll give it, because his whole thing was that he was like, I don't know about real life, but
Anthony Mackie, he plays the character. All right. He's a young black guy. In the movie, he's a young black guy. In reality, he's probably like Puerto Rican, right?
I think, or something like. I couldn't really tell.
He's a young black guy in the movie. He kind of
the picture was shitty.
He kind of reminds me of a character that, say, like a young Eddie Murphy would play, and he kind of doesn't fucking feel that he's good enough, so he's on roids to try to get as big as he fucking possibly can. And it's just a fucking... His character's got a good story arc. It's funny. He constantly jacked on roids, go, come on, man, come on! You know, and it's just real fucking super aggressive, funny. He ends up, he's got this fucking fetish for fucking heavy white girls, which he finds fucking heavy white girls.
Yeah, Rebel Wilson is
played by Rebel Wilson. And fucking Rebel Wilson's fucking singing songs to him about his black beauty and shit like that.
Was that even in the movie? I think that was like in the outtakes.
Hilarious.
But
I think it was just.
I like her. She's funny.
I think it was just in the outtakes. At their wedding, she's fucking singing to him about that he is her black beauty and fucking going on, and she's into these fucking black guys, and it's fucking funny, you know what I mean? And at the end of the movie, when he gets fucking busted and he's in fucking prison, or when he's in trial, she fucking testifies against him and uses that as an opportunity to tell everyone that he's got a little dick that's crooked. Okay. that motherfucker, you know, she just goes on, and he's sitting there just melting in his fucking mouth.
Well, because that's how, I don't know if about real life, but that's how in the movie, that's how he met her, because because of the steroids, like he couldn't
get it up.
Yeah, he was impotent.
He had to go to the clinic.
He had to go to the penis clinic.
Yeah.
And she was like the nurse that was like looking after him.
See.
Oh, Michael was the one. See, Michael sent it to you.
Who did? Mike, you did.
See, I thought it was. I said if it wasn't Louis, it was probably Michael, because you two guys send us movies.
Yeah,
all the
thanks
time.
for sending. You sent me this one. You sent me
Death Wish.
Death Wish. Yeah.
We just watched that, and it was like.
Yeah, you're right, man. This fucking.
Oh my
movie,
god, we were dying. We were dying. It was so fucking funny.
Man, I was fucking rolling. I love that.
And
movie.
I didn't even like remember that case because it was so long ago.
It's true crime. It's Florida. It's got fucking muscle heads in it. It's got fucking. It's Miami shit. It's fucking. It's perfect. I love that movie. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good. And it's just a very good movie. Real good.
It's like I don't know, like I was watching the 48 Hours earlier, and I felt a little bit bad because I was just kind of like, the poor guy, the first guy that got kidnapped, they were like interviewing him on there, and he seemed like a lovely man, and I was just kind of like, man, I feel, because he was like, yeah, they made a movie about it, and he's like, it's a comedy, that's kind of unfortunate, you know what I mean, because he got tortured and everything, but it's like, still, though, I mean, the movie is like super.
I'm not gonna put it away. I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah, I actually would mind seeing this. So we watched all the extras too. Yeah. We watched the movie, and then we just like put all the extras on.
In the extras, it turns out that all the cops were played by real Miami cops.
Well, I guess Michael Bay. I'm not a big like Michael Bay connoisseur.
He likes to have real cops.
But he likes to have real everything like in his movies, and I guess like he usually has the budget to like pull that off. It's like, hey, can we get like the fucking army and shit on this? And they're like, sure, Mr. Bay, whatever you want. But and also something that they said too, the shit that was done. I think the house that belonged to the couple that he killed in the movie, that was Michael Bay's house in Miami. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure he's like, well, this was a $24 million movie, which, like I said, where somebody would give me $24 million, like it was nothing. And Michael Bay's like, yeah, it's such a small budget movie, and I'm like, yeah, throw me some of that fucking bread, dude. But we'll see how nothing it is. But he was like trying to save money. So a lot of the shit that they filmed it because Michael Bay, I guess, lives in Miami. I don't know if he lives there full time, but he's got a big house there. And so they all know him. And so they let him film like in the streets. They got the fucking cops, the fucking National Guard involved. He shot all that shit in his house. The funniest thing to me, this like, I don't know why this made me laugh so hard, but when all the crew was like coming to his house, he's like, oh, it was so awesome. Like when we got to shoot in my house, because I could just, the crew would get there at 7:30 in the morning, and I'd just like come down in my robe with my coffee, you know what I mean, from my room or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, it must be nice. But he had like all these signs everywhere, keep off the grass, like he didn't want the crew like walking on his fucking grass. And it just like made me laugh that he put these fucking ugly signs all over his yard because he was worried about all the people trampling over his fucking grass. And I'm like, dude, it's Florida. In summer, your grass is gonna die anyway. It's gonna turn fucking brown. Unless he's got zillions of dollars, so I'm sure they have some kind of magical shit that keeps the grass looking good all year round.
Yeah, Michael, you called it, man. Yeah, I like that fucking movie. That's one of my favorite movies. That's going up there with shit, what else? That's up there with the Great Lebowski, Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski.
That's up there with fucking the karate one, the fucking Art of Self-Defense. That's up there with yeah. It's a good movie.
I mean,
I'm kind of drunk. I'm not feeling well. I'm sick. I'm drunk. And
he's trying to like drink away the.
Yeah, I'm trying to drink away the fucking,
Rona.
Yeah, it's not Rona. She's always trying.
It might be.
It's just fucking cold. It's right here, man. It's my nose. It smells like fucking like a burning fire, and plastic. But I liked it just because it did encapsulate the insanity that is fucking Florida.
Yeah, like I said, this is one of the most Florida. Other than that dude that ate that other dude's face.
That's Florida too, man.
I think
Florida's fuck.
I think this might be the most Florida thing ever.
Yeah. It had me right there. I'm like going, yep. That's happening. I said, yeah, that's it. Yep. And I'm not a Florida native, but I'm a Florida resident. She's but I'm an adopted fucking Floridian. I love Florida. I'm gonna probably stay in Florida the rest of my life, unless it gets fucked up. But Florida is. I've been to a lot of different states, and Florida's kind of like. It's kind of like across. There are some states in the United States that are kind of like their own countries, like Louisiana is like its own country. Texas is like its own country.
Well, big time. I think that's probably the prime example right there.
Fucking Mississippi's like its own country. Florida is definitely like its own country. Very. The weird
thing about Florida, though, in that regard, is that we're in a way we're kind of like California because almost everybody
reminded me a lot of California when I was a kid.
Almost everybody here is a transplant. They're from somewhere else. So I think what ends up happening is that you get the best and the worst from everywhere else. I mean, you get so many people coming down here just because it's warm, like the weather's nice. Well, I don't think
it's not nice. The weather's fucking terrible.
Nice. It's awful. I hate it.
It's fucking hot and humid, but
some people like it.
It's
but
tropical.
I do not.
Having done time in Brazil and shit, you know what I mean? It's like that. It's Brazil's actually not quite as hot, but it's like a South or a Central American country. It just has that vibe.
It's like Satan's ass crack.
It was always part of fucking the Spanish Empire when Spain owned it. It was under the control of fucking Seminole mercenaries and stuff, and ended up switching side, becoming America, becoming the part of the United States under the pressure of General Jackson. Andrew Jackson caused it to flip. It is an American state, but it does not yield to a lot of American bullshit. It does not have American sensibilities. It's like Central America.
It does kind of have that vibe to it. It's very schizo. Like I said, I was born here, and as I said, that's very unusual. I think when I was in high school, I went to Seabreeze High School in Daytona Beach, and I was the only, as far as I can remember, I was the only person in my graduating class, at least that I knew of, that was born here.
Yeah. Now.
No, my best friend was born in Gainesville, but she, other than that, she was the only other person that I knew that was.
It's weird though. Here. It's like Central America and Mississippi had a collision because the Panhandle is just like Mississippi.
That's like Alabama, dude.
It's like Alabama, Mississippi, Panhandle, same shit. But it blends. It gets along very well.
I mean, the weird thing about Florida is that you have kind of like when I say that it's kind of schizo, it kind of has a little bit of everything. You have a lot of redneck. Yeah. You have like some big kind of cosmopolitan cities, sort of like Miami, the Tampa area to an extent.
Orlando's
not like anything, in like really, really big cities, but
it's because it's new.
Yeah, because it's newer. Then you have like really, really rural shit. You have like fucking swamp.
Yeah.
You have like fucking just all kind of fucking crazy shit like that. You have like all these you even have this in Orlando. You have these enclaves of like different immigrants. Like I said, I like Orlando. We have Little Vietnam.
A lot of India.
A lot of Indians. And a lot of Brits.
Yeah.
Which is weird. A lot of Vietnamese. So there's like these just little enclaves of like all these different immigrants like living like all the way across the I-4
Our street
corridor.
right here is like half Indian, from India.
Yeah,
they love it here. All right. It's weird though too. A lot of our club friends are from New York. Like, you know what I mean? They're sick of New York. They move here.
Well, I think that's gone back to shit when I was a little kid. Like, a lot of New Yorkers would move down, especially when they retired, because they were, like, sick of the cold or whatever.
Right.
So they would move down here because it's, like, hot all year round, pretty much.
And then sometimes you run across New Yorkers that don't belong here, too. You know what I mean? Like, New Yorkers that liked New York, but maybe were forced out for some reason. I don't know. And they just look appalled by what's happening. You know what I mean? I've seen that, too.
I mean, it's not, I wouldn't call this like fucking, it's not like South America or Central America level crazy, but it's
getting there.
It does have a little bit of that vibe to it, though.
Yeah.
But I will say that it depends on where you go also.
Yeah.
Because.
What neighborhoods?
Well, no, it depends on what part of Florida you go to. I mean, you go to, like if you go, like I grew up on the East Coast, like Daytona. Daytona is super redneck. You have it, and it's like it's kind of a combo. Like I haven't been there in a while, but you know, my family still lives there. It's like halfway between redneck because you have like the NASCAR track is there. There's like, you know, and all that other kind of shit. And then you have like you know, this whole spring break like beach culture, like, you know, college douchebag kind of culture. So you have that kind of shit going on, and that's pretty much it. So you know what I mean? So there's that dynamic there. Then it's weird because then you go like 50 miles up the coast and you have St. Augustine, which is America's oldest city, if you didn't know. It was founded by the Spanish back in the 1500s. And that's kind of like a big tourist mecca, but the people that live there, because it's not real big, like as, you know, in regards to residents, you know what I mean? Because their main thing is tourism. But the people that live there are like really, not so much anymore, I guess, but they used to be like super, super insular, you know what I mean? So there's that whole thing going on. Then you got like the Space Coast, you know, kind of Melbourne, you know, Cape Canaveral sort of area. And then South Florida, which is, you know, largely Cuban. You have like a massive, massive, like Miami. You have like a whole bunch of old people, like I said, because a lot of people retire there. There's like a huge, huge gay culture. There's, like I said, a lot of Cubans, some Haitians. So there's all that kind of stuff. The interesting thing about it is the West Coast, Tampa, because I lived there for a little while too. That also has a massive, massive Cuban influence. Also a lot of like pirate kind of shit. Yeah. Because there was like a lot of, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean.
The food here is great. The food here is great.
You can find a lot of shit here. Like I said, if you're into Cuban food, I would definitely recommend
Cuban, Indian,
Tampa.
they got everything here, yeah.
Orlando is it's a weird kind of city because it's so transient. Like, it's so based around tourism and, like, the Disney parks and everything like that.
You got people, you know, you got people leaving California. And for those who don't know me, I was born in California. A lot of people leave California, they're going to New York. Or, excuse me, a lot of them are leaving California and they're going to Texas, all right? Some of them are leaving Texas and going back to California because they're going like, oh man, the monoculture, the food isn't any good, you know. Texas and Florida are very different. There are places in Texas around the Austin area where there's not a lot going on. Florida, like, it feels like another country. It does. It feels like a Central American country to me with a bunch of tourists in it. But it feels like a rich Central American country. There's a lot, having lived in Brazil too, it's a lot higher end than Brazil, okay? But it does. Brazilians move here and they feel right at home. They like it here. It's just a good state. Good mixture of stuff.
Well, there's a lot there's a lot that I don't like about it.
The laws are real reasonable too. And the taxes and shit. It's good.
There's a lot that I don't like about it because, like I said, I was born here. But, you know, I can see why people would want to come here. And it depends where you want to go in Florida. Depends on what you like. Yeah. If you don't like rednecky shit, I would not recommend.
Don't go above Daytona.
No, don't go anywhere in the Panhandle. Yeah. Because that's basically just like fucking Yeah, don't even.
Yeah, but they're having fun up there. If you
well,
like
yeah,
that
but
kind
I'm just saying, if you like rednecky
like
shit, then
shit,
by all means, like, go to the Panhandle. Other than that, I mean, Jacksonville is a big city, but Jacksonville, the weird thing about Jacksonville, I've only been there. My mom used to live there, so I used to go there every now and then. The weird thing about Jacksonville is that it's a real big city, but it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It just seems really straight-laced. It seems really uptight, like, for a city. It seems like a corporate big city. Does that make any sense?
No.
I don't know. It just seemed like that to me. Like, it seems like a big city, but it didn't seem like any fun. It wasn't like real vibrant, or it wasn't.
Smash that like button, people. Go ahead and smash that
it just seemed like, I don't know. Every time I went there, like, they used to have a couple good clubs that I went to, but I'm sure they're long gone by now. But I just feel like when I was going there, it just felt very sterile. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big city, but it just seemed very sterile. So, yeah.
If you ask me, everything depends upon whatever scene you're into and what kind of friends you have. That's really what it all boils down to.
Well, I mean, you can find anything. You can find something to like no matter where you are. I mean, even when I was in Daytona, which I hated, there were like a small contingent. Yeah. I mean, we had like a little indie bookstore. Yeah. We had like a little tiny punk rock club. We had a little, and we all knew each other because it was only like fucking 10 of us. If you're in the
Panhandle and you're up north in Florida, fucking really the only thing's going on is there's a college town there. There might be some.
Well, Gainesville is kind of more in the middle. Yeah, like it's north but central. But there used to be. I don't know about.
There's also like a big mud trucking events. You know what I mean? Where they're doing mudding and shit, which is, you can just go look at Florida fucking mud truck stuff, and it's just nothing but redneck girls in bikinis and fucking on these damn mud trucks, and they're getting drunk. It's stupid, but they love it. Yeah, you know what I mean? They love that.
Which a lot of Florida is like that.
They're
I'm not gonna lie.
That kind of shit. Rap music and white girls with fucking mud all over them. And
Zach said, Jenny, I know you said Scientology ran Clearwater, but what's it like there otherwise? Clearwater, it's a little bit boring. Like the downtown, I'm kind of bummed that fucking Scientology kind of took over the shit, and we're just like, hey, we're gonna buy all the buildings and then just make them so nobody ever comes there anymore. Because, the downtown was actually quite beautiful, like some of the architecture and stuff. But what they did was they bought up, I don't think they own everything down there, but they did buy up a bunch of the buildings and make them into Scientology buildings, and now there's like nothing in there, so nobody goes in there. So there's really not a reason to go down there. But the beaches are gorgeous. The West Coast beaches, because having grown up in Daytona, which is East Coast, the beaches there are nice. A lot of people like them because you can drive on them. They're good for like fishing. There's like cool, like, it's more like tacky kind of shit, at least where I grew up, because there's like, boardwalks and all that kind of crap. The West Coast beaches, because it's the Gulf of Mexico rather than the Atlantic, like the beaches are way, way prettier because the water is way prettier. It's like Florida really, really blue.
Is motorcycle heaven?
Oh, that too. I forgot.
Motorcycle heaven. If you like Harleys, you can get those cheap here used. Fucking,
I got
4 motorcycles.
Two times a year in Daytona, they have Oktoberfest and Biketoberfest.
If you like
Biketoberfest, and they have one in like another.
If you like guns, Florida is gun heaven. Fucking, they have real fucking lax gun laws. Fucking, there's not a fucking, crime is not really through the roof here. Yeah, you have weird shit that happens, but it's not really a crime infested place. It's pretty happy.
It's not terrible. No, I mean, some places are obviously worse than others, and like
if you're down there, then you deserve. You know what you're. You know what I mean. You know what's.
I mean, it depends. I mean, there's some neighborhoods in Orlando that you probably shouldn't go to. Right. Although downtown Orlando,
safe.
It's iffy.
No, it's safe.
It's iffy.
That's safe.
I mean, we go down there all the time, but. I think it's a little bit safer than it used to be.
But you gotta look at it from my point of view. Compared to fucking New Orleans, fucking safe.
Well, yeah.
Compared to anything in Brazil, super safe. Compared to, say, L.A., real safe. Yeah, what are you talking about? Compared to Detroit, fucking right, super safe. Yeah, very, very safe.
I don't worry too much about it. Every now and then I do.
There were a couple little shootings that happened around us. You had the fucking Pulse nightclub thing. That was terrorism. You know what I mean? But
that was we were out that night too.
There was that
happened like a couple blocks away from where we were.
They kicked the dude out of the club. He went out to the car and got a fucking .22 and started shooting at the back door. And a friend of mine who was the bouncer was fucking keeping the fucking door shut. He was blocking the bullets off. But you know what? We laughed at that. We just kind of laughed that off. Nobody got hurt. And the cops...
He's not talking about Pulse. He's talking about...
He's talking
about Ibar, which is
Ibar.
the bar that we go. When somebody did shoot at the door.
Somebody shoot at the door, and my friend fucking was holding the door shut.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. And the cop station was next door to that. That dude immediately got arrested.
That's what's kind of dumb.
It's
the
like, stupidest shit in the world.
So
He's
picture
shooting
this.
at the fucking door.
Here's Ibar. It's at the corner of Orange Avenue and Washington. It's like this. It's on the corner. It's big.
Yeah.
And then, like, right down here on Washington, there is a parking lot, another parking lot, and then the police station.
Yeah. So you're gonna see stupid shit happen like that. But you know what I mean? If you're a kind of coward that worries about that kind of shit, just stay your fucking ass home. Okay? There's always the chance that something bad could happen, but that's just life. That's life. You know?
And I don't worry. And to be
you
honest,
don't worry about it.
Before me and you got together,
yeah.
I used to go downtown by myself all the time. Like I was always going down there meeting people. It's not like I was just going down there and hanging out by myself or anything. I was going down there and like hanging out the bars and like I knew everybody. But I felt unsafe sometimes because sometimes you'd get like some sketchy motherfucker following you or whatever, and it's like
it's
it was
very
like
different though.
But yeah, so it's kind of like that, but.
That's man on woman crime. That's very different than fucking dudes shooting each other.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Every time there were shootings and shit that happened downtown, and every time these were not serious motherfuckers. It was always some dumbass did something stupid. All right. It was not really something real malicious either.
Well, this is Florida.
Yeah, it's like remember the dude who got so drunk.
This is the dumbass capital of the world.
It's just the dumbass capital of the world. In Brazil, it was very different. If a dude got shot, it was some fucking malicious shit. It was pre-planned by fucking professional thieves that were trying to kill a dude to get money. That's not what it is in Florida. Usually.
Well, here it's just like,
dude got drunk at the bar. He had a gun in his waistband, pulled it out, and fucking passed out on the bar with a fucking gun on the fucking. Remember that dude?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then he got. They tried to lock him into the damn bar. He tries to get out, walks down the street with a gun in his hand, fucking could barely stand up, and the cops fucking blew him away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, the cops are like literally around the corner from the
and literally
right there.
American cops will fucking kill you. They will just fucking kill you.
Well, yeah, they don't care what you're doing either.
No, you gotta drop the gun, pop, 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 pop. You know,
sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can be really bad.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, so...
But, you know.
I have a very good sense of good and evil and violence and fucking evil and warfare and stuff, and hanging out for years in downtown Orlando, I never felt waves of evil or anybody being fucking totally like... no malevolence. It's usually just somebody being stupid. You know what I'm talking about?
Which, like I said, that can result in the same thing.
It can result in somebody getting killed, but
sure,
it's usually just fucking stupid people. Stupid people being dumb.
Juan asked what your age is. You're 50.
I'm 51.
He's 51.
Yeah.
And I'm 48. I know you didn't ask. Zach said, favorite club you guys go to? Independent bar. There's a lot of clubs in Orlando.
Come and go.
But Independent Bar has been there for more than 30 years. As I said, it's right on the main drag on the corner of Orange and Washington, right down the street from like Church Street where all that kind of shit is. And I think the thing about it, I think that the reason that it survived so long, because I've kind of thought about this myself, there's just something about that place that fosters a feeling of... I don't want to say it's like, you know, like on Cheers where it's like, you know, so you kind of come in, you feel like, oh, it's like your second home or whatever. Ibar has that kind of vibe to it.
Well, that was our version of CBGB's, really.
Yeah, and they do kind of like, they changed it a little bit over the years, but not too much. Saturday nights is always 80s, new wave. They do Memento Mori, which is goth industrial. They do that once a month on a Monday. And then the rest of the times, I don't know if they do, because sometimes they do indie. They do a night called Mac and Cheese.
Yeah.
Which is 80s and 90s, but it's like cheesy shit, like fucking iced tea. Like, not iced tea, but vanilla ice, you know what I mean? Like, and Tiffany and that kind of shit. Yeah, which people fucking love that, man. That's like full of fucking 25-year-olds, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But, so they do that. I don't know if they do...
Yeah, Ken said Ibar. He knows... Ken, you know Ibar? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think they do grits and gravy anymore, because that was one thing that I used to like. It used to be Tuesdays, and I think they moved it to Thursdays. Grits and gravy used to be cool shit from the 50s to the 70s. So you could feel this would be like Elvis, and then they'd play like ABBA, or like something from Greece, or something like that. It was like super, super fun. And it attracted, like, I think the cool thing about Ibar is that it's kind of that place that has been there so long, but it's still kind of cool. So it's like, you can go out to any other club in the area, because there's tons of them. You go out to another club, but you're always going to end up there at the end of the night, because it's just kind of open to everybody. There's always something for any kind of person.
Yeah, there's been a lot of clubs come and go over the fucking decades.
Oh, big time.
Here. You know what I mean? Some of them were physically a lot better, but then they didn't last long, you know. There's that one place. What was that place? It's changed names so many times. It's where it's a club, but they used to have shows there. We saw
The Social.
No. The one.
No. I know what you're talking about.
It's had a couple different names.
Yeah. What the fuck is that called now?
We saw shows.
I'll remember it in a minute.
We saw shows. We saw Peter Murphy there.
We saw Gary Newman there, or did we see him at that other? We saw Gary Newman at that.
We saw Nitsa Reb there.
That's right. The fuck is the name?
What was the name of that name? It's got a new name now.
Yeah, I think it's called.
And we haven't been to there since, you know, they've been fucking up lately, man. Fucking, I hope this shit fucking blows over so the fucking nightlife comes back. And then...
I must say I'm kind of impressed that a lot of clubs have managed to remain open.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, Ibar is still open.
Yeah.
They closed for a long time, but while they were closed, because, you know, we know who the owner, John Gardner. Yeah. And while they were shut down... He actually, like, put money into improve. He painted the whole shit.
Yeah,
he, like,
nice.
put all new... And he made it, like, really... It was nice.
It's better than it's actually better than ever right now.
Yeah, he really did it out nice.
Although, you know, the best goth club, of course, in Florida is the Castle. That goes all the way back to fucking Saturday Night Live when they were on there saying fucking what was better, Orlando or fucking... Remember that?
Tampa, yeah.
Or Tampa.
Because that was a big thing, like, the goth scene...
Yeah.
Between Orlando and Tampa. Well, because... Yeah. The thing about it, I don't even know if you'd so much call it a rivalry, because Orlando and Tampa, I mean, from Ibar to the Castle is what, maybe an hour and a half, maybe not even.
An hour.
So you do kind of get people driving back and forth for different events, but there is a little bit of a competition. It's not as bad as it used to be, but there is a little bit of competition between Orlando and Tampa.
Too. The Castle's really good though when we go.
I mean, the thing about the Castle, and I started going there back in the late 90s, maybe mid to late 90s, I can't remember now. But I started going there when I was still living in Daytona. I used to drive and
make you no drink?
Yeah. If you don't know, Tampa to Daytona, that's like 2.5 hours one way, because it's all the way across the state. Daytona's on one end, Tampa's on the other end. So you just take I-4 all the way across. So I used to do that every Saturday night. And I couldn't afford to stay over in a hotel. This was when I was married to my first husband. So we would never stay in a hotel. We would just go to the club for several hours, and then we'd drive back at like 5 a.m. So, you know, we didn't drink that much back then, which, you know, just to be safe. Even though it's like there's nobody on the fucking road at that time anyway. But the thing about the Castle, even going back to like the 90s and the 2000s, I was not a massive fan of the music, I have to say. I'm a very old school. I like new wave. I like post-punk. I like death rock. I like punk rock. I like that kind of shit. So I feel like the Castle, a lot of their stuff was industrial, which is fine.
There you go.
Or, you know, synth pop. You know, a lot of that kind of stuff, which, again, fine, but not my favorite. So a lot of the times I would go there, like I would drive all the way there. You get like fucking, because you gotta like fucking dress up if you're going to the Castle, because it's the fucking Castle, and it was like a special occasion. So you have to super dress up. You'd go there, And then sometimes I'd be in there, I'd be drinking my whatever it was, and they have real glasses, not even plastic cups or anything. And you'd be and I'd be like, listening to the music, being like, you know, I'd be smoking my cloves. And I'd be like, God damn, it's like, I really wish they'd play something that didn't sound the same. Like, sometimes it seemed like fucking 2 hours. I'd be standing there and be like, this is the same song. It just feels like it's not changing. But you know what I mean? It's like, not to pick on them. But, we haven't been there in a while. I think the last time we went to the castle was when? The vampire ball?
It's been about a year at least. Huh?
The vampire ball?
Have
we been there since then?
We haven't been there since the pandemic hit.
Well, I know that, but I think even before that, we hadn't been there for like a year. Because remember, I remember going to the vampire ball with Jen and Dimitri.
Yeah. Because
we got a hotel, because obviously it's Tampa. And Dimitri was like, hey, I work for the hotel chain. It's like, we're all going to stay over. So we all stayed in Tampa, like, all weekend. And we went to the vampire ball. Man, we were all fucking done out. And that was a fun event. But the thing about the castle is that it's so well known around the country is that you get, when they do like vampire ball or a masquerade or something like that, you get people from everywhere. That place is fucking packed.
DJ Maniac's asking about Fetish Factory. Remember Fetish Factory?
Yeah.
That was kind of like the heavier fucking, that was like swingers and shit at that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I think so. Because wasn't Jen and Dimitri fucking hanging out over there?
No, Brian and Beck do, though.
Brian and Beck, that's what it is, yeah. Brian and Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah, where do they have that at, do you know?
It moves around, I think. That's generally a South Florida thing.
Yeah, to go to that shit, you gotta be willing to give up some ass.
I haven't been to any fetish shit for a really long time. And the fetish shit, I feel like that's more, they do it up here too, but that's more a South Florida thing. Like they used to have, they had a club called Man Ray down here, which I know I don't know if it was affiliated with the one that you know about, but there was one.
Nothing to do with it.
It was in Fort Lauderdale, which, you know, is not that far from Miami. And I went to a fetish party there one night, and they were like super strict. I mean, super strict about dress code, super strict about everything, because it was, you know.
Oh, well,
hey, Poop.
How'd you come in here?
She snuck in.
How'd you shut the door behind you?
What? Okay. Yeah. How'd that happen?
I don't know. You broke it.
Did she break that one too?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Okay, you broke
I bought those 2 floppy fish for them for Christmas. One for her and one for Beige. And she broke both of them.
You broke that one too.
God damn it. Now I'm going to have to give... They're not that expensive. They're only like $6 or something. Why you break the fishy?
Why'd you break it?
She's looking up at him like, what? I didn't do anything. You broke the fishy.
You broke that one. Okay.
She always has this little look, well, like when she was
surprised look on her face. Yeah, she stripped it.
That looks dirty, but it looks like a fucking sex toy. But yeah.
Ridiculous.
It is. But yeah, so that was a long time ago. So the castle is, in case you've never seen it, I think one of the main reasons why it's such an iconic club in the goth scene around the country is because of that fucking building. That building is amazing.
Yeah, it was
a cigar factory
it looks like a damn Masonic lodge.
Or a Masonic lodge or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
It's big, and it takes up like a whole corner, and it's kind of off on its own. It's not on the main drag, and actually when I used to go there, it used to be a lot more secluded because since I started going there in the late 90s, early 2000s, they built out this whole thing called Centro Ybor, which is all kind of like this big open like mezzanine or whatever, and like they have all these like restaurants and shops and all this other kind of shit because they're trying to open it up to more tourism in Ybor City. So they opened the castle up, you know, so across the street there's like this big fucking open air, there's restaurants and all kind of crap. So that didn't used to be there. So when you waited in line for the castle, we were kind of, because there's a main strip in Ybor, 7th Avenue, and that's where most of the like kind of mainstream clubs are. So the nice thing about the castle was that it was a couple blocks off that. It's like at 9th and 16th. So you could kind of like go a little bit off the beaten path. You know, where the castle is, like, there's just, like, a dead end, like, right in front of it. So you didn't get people, like, just wandering in so much. I'm sure you probably do now, because now it's all open, and you get all the looky-loos coming into from the restaurant going, oh, what's that over there? You know what I mean? And then wandering in there. So I'm sure it probably sucks now. I don't know. I haven't been. But, so it used to be a lot more secluded, because it was just, like, abandoned buildings or apartments or something opposite. But I don't know. It just seems like that building, it's really big, and it's like the ground floor, it's like the bar on the ground floor is amazing. I don't know who made it, but it's just like, it's this black, it almost looks like obsidian or some shit like that. And it's all the way around. It's like U-shaped. And it has like all these little channels in it, like with like water running through it and shit like that. And it's just like really dark, and it's all atmospheric and shit. And then you go, they have music down there, then they have a big patio, and then you go upstairs, and that's where like all the, goth industrial shit is. And they have like stained glass windows. It's fucking gorgeous. So I think that, I mean, they used to have more, it used to look more gothy, I feel like, because they had like velvet couches, and you could like lay over there and smoke your cloves and be all like cool and everything.
Yeah,
but they back in the day. But
yeah.
What they did was they kind of opened it up more to like the fetish scene, because I guess that's where more of their money was coming from. So they built a dungeon in the ground floor, which is limited access. You can go in there if you have like special thing in an event or whatever. They don't open it all the time. There's cages in there where you can play with shit and whatever. They have like, can't you like tie people up on the wall and whip them and what? I don't know.
I don't really pay attention to that.
So
shit.
they have all that kind of stuff down there, and then up on the upper floor where it's kind of sucks, because they used to have like all these nice like conversation pits with all these velvet couches and stuff, and now they just have like more cages and like more fetish stuff, which, whatever. That's where the money's coming from.
Last time we were there, remember, the management was fucked up.
That's true. I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah. It's just,
Brittany says cages you can play with. Yeah, there was like little cages.
Yeah, they had all that going on, and then upstairs was dance floor. It was just a cool club. Remember the last time we were there for an event, the woman that was running the shit downstairs was fucking up, and the management was kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? It looked like they didn't know what was going on, and I don't know. We haven't been there in a while. It's maybe they've straightened it out. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind going to like if they have like a big event again, because they do have really nice big events there. Like I said, they do a vampire ball.
Big events have been on hold for the past year.
I know,
we're gonna see what's going on.
But I think that might have been the last time we went. Was the last time they did a vampire ball.
Yeah.
Which I think isn't that the same one that they sometimes do in New Orleans, or no? I can't remember.
I don't remember which.
We went to it 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember if it was 2 years in a row or if it was a year in between. But
wouldn't mind going back to New Orleans.
Well, I've never been, so we should probably go at some point. Brittany says, sounds like a good time to me. It is. And the thing about it is that Tampa is, far enough away that, the castle is kind of like a treat. So when you're going there, it's kind of like an event, it's like, oh, we really, really got to dress up, and we got to get a hotel room, and you got to like plan a whole weekend around it, because it's, it's not a huge drive for us. It's about, I think it's an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes, something like that. So, but it's a cool place. It's really hard to explain what the atmosphere is like if you've never been there. And if you're not if you're not really into gothy shit, it might not.
They wouldn't like
impress you so much.
They wouldn't like it.
But for little goth kids like me, like I said, when I was still in my 20s and 30s, in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean, when I went there, I was just like, oh, this is everything I ever wanted. It's like it looked exactly like I pictured, going to a goth club. Like if you saw in a movie or something, like it looks exactly like that. Like all the people that work there and like just the whole atmosphere of it. That's exactly what you would picture.
How long have you been streaming? Did it say?
Hour and 28 minutes.
Okay.
Zach says, I don't think fetish anything exists here in Indiana. You might be surprised. There's fetish shit everywhere. It just depends on what state it is. You just have to like look a little deeper. Although, I will say, there are a lot of fetish clubs here. Or at least there used to be. I don't know about nowadays. I do feel like maybe in smaller states where it's not so prevalent, or cities where it's not so prevalent, it might kind of get into a thing where, I don't know, you're getting into like the weird swinger thing and like, oh, everything's like fucking 60-year-old naked dudes with fucking...
See, there's a difference between fetish fashion and fetish reality. A lot of the fucking shit that we go to is more like just a fashion, but it's more like a goth night and with industrial music. But they do have some damn fucking places where it's a fucking swingers fucking event, and it's a bunch of old floppy people fucking you want anything to do with that shit.
That's what I mean. It's really that's the thing. There's a lot of overlap between the goth industrial scene and the fetish scenes, but there is still it's
mostly fashion more than anything else.
That's what I mean. It's not like, the Venn diagram is not like a complete circle. There's still like a little bit of separate shit. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of goth industrial people, they like the look of the shit. They like all the BDSM, like, looking clothing. And some of them are into some of that shit. You know what I mean? Just real mild kind of shit. But I feel like in the fetish community, you have some of that. But then you also have, like, these normal-looking old people.
Todd saying, don't be putting down 60-year-old dudes. Tom's nearly 60. I'm not nearly 60, you bitch, you. Maybe in the big picture, but come on.
Rick says, I'm looking for a floppy goth.
Ridiculous.
I don't know if we know any. Do we know any floppy goths?
Not everybody. People don't age all the same, bro.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
I'm 51. I'm still fucking holding my own, man.
Well, we're still trying to keep it together. We went to Memento Mori.
We go to the fucking clubs and young people look like shit compared to us, half of them.
We went to Memento Mori a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
We had masks on and everything. It's all right. Everybody had masks. It's fine. But, so we went to that, and I was pretty drunk, but I was talking to this one guy. I don't know how old he was. And he just kept coming up to the bar, and he was, like, talking to me. And he's like, hey, what the fuck, blah, blah, blah. And, like, I was talking to him. And he asked me how old I was. And it's weird because, like, I love telling people how old I am at that bar, because for some reason they never believe me. I'm old though. Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, bye. Because you're old enough to be my mom. Yeah. That's gross.
It's not what it was. It's because I was there too, and you realized it was all just a bunch of fucking old people.
That does kind of... Well, that happened a lot. Like, before, like...
Young guys can't lie to you. See? That's the deal.
No one can lie to me.
You can't lie to you yet.
Well, you can, but you'll pay for it later.
You'll pay for it, and you'll figure out you're fucking lying.
You'll pay for it later, because I will figure out, like, some epically fucked up shit.
What day is it? Today is Wednesday, right?
It's Wednesday.
Okay. I'm getting sick of being in the house, man. As soon as I fucking heal up, I'm going to start partying again. Fuck these lockdowns. We're not locked down here. And they're not even being strict about the masks. I'm going to start doing whatever the fuck I want to do.
You're going to spread your
I'm going to spread diseases, whatever I want to do. Yeah, I'm going to do whatever I want to do.
Typhoid Tom.
I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I don't care. The more y'all that die, the fucking more shit there is for me to take. That's how I'm going to look at it.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm like Mad Max.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck. World's over already. Your shit is going to be mine.
It's really not.
Take it from you.
You're not taking my shit.
No, not you. I'm talking to these motherfuckers. I'm going to take it.
I'm sure everybody in there is like, yeah, you're not taking my shit either.
Whatever you have, it should be mine. I can't understand why you have it. That's my new man.
You sound like one of those dudes in the movie.
Exactly. That just
he's
like
he decided that he's gonna be like that. You're just gonna like kidnap some like rich people.
Florida's a motherfucker. I can't understand why you have that. That's supposed to be mine. That's gonna be my whole fucking. That's gonna be my new philosophy.
I don't know if that's such a good philosophy.
I'm not worried about good or bad anymore. My time is short. I'm like the devil. The devil beast of wrath, where he knows the time is short.
Blah, 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 blah.
I don't fucking know what he's talking about.
He doesn't know what he's saying.
Just right off of fucking...
Zach says Tom's giving the world his cooties. Zach says, none of you are allowed to complain. I look both 12 and 40 at the same time.
God damn.
I feel
Zach said that?
Yeah.
Zach's just trying to be gay. You're just trying to be gay.
He's not trying to be gay.
Okay.
He is gay.
Okay, all right.
He's not trying. He's doing it. He's a doer.
Yeah, he's a doer.
See, I brought that right back. Brought that right back.
Zach, as gay as you is, you still need to lose that belly. You were telling me about all that weight that you gained just sitting around being gay in the middle of a pandemic. You can't do that, man.
Sitting around being gay
in the middle of a pandemic. You gotta understand that a gay man is supposed to have standards. Okay. Go on a diet, lose the fucking weight, get your fucking vacuum pump, get that big dick as big as it can get.
He's giving advice now.
That's my advice.
Get an injection.
Get any kind of injections you need.
Fido says like all those gay Gandalfs. Oh, he was watching yesterday.
You don't understand Zach
Gandalf.
the way I understand Zach.
Hi, Pook.
Zach is a fucking megalomaniac fucking gay power bottom. All right, he will fucking jump on a fire hydrant and just work it up and down like that. I got the shit on video. He sent it to me.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't show it to you?
No. Why are you flinging your glasses at me?
I'm making things up.
Okay.
Zach.
Don't interrupt me. I'm pulling shit out of my ass.
Yeah. God damn it. God damn. I'm trying.
I know. I'm
trying to tell a good story.
I'm such an asshole.
Trying to tell a good story, and she's fact checking me. Jenny's fact checking.
I know, I'm terrible. Facts should totally not matter.
Don't check any facts.
It'll only lead to ruin.
Man, I was hoping that I'd wake up this morning feeling good because Jenny is my witness. Last night I was talking about Koi Wan.
Yeah, the Chinese buffet.
Our Chinese buffet, and I was going to attack.
The chuffet.
Chuffet. Fuck you.
That's how we shorten it.
Fuck you, Jenny. I'm trying to fucking tell a story.
Okay.
That Chinese buffet was fucking calling me. Okay, it was calling me from across the fucking waves. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, from across, like, a couple miles
of
highway, sure.
Damn, I want some Chinese buffet.
He was, yeah.
With the crab legs and the fucking boiled shrimp. And then I started to think about all the Indian buffets we've been missing out on. Losing too much weight. Me and Jenny are getting skinny on this bitch.
Well, I'm trying to lose weight. He doesn't want to hear it. I'm trying to lose weight. We
got to get pretty again.
Well, yeah.
For Florida.
Yeah, I can't. This isn't sustainable.
It's not sustainable to
I
get
have
this
to,
fat.
like, seriously, no, it's not. And, like, I have a tendency, like I told you, man, I just sniff food and I gain weight. So I have to kind of, like, today, this is what I've eaten today. I ate 1 hard-boiled egg. I had a mug full of leek soup and a protein bar. That's it. And I walked 5 miles. Yeah.
I ate leek soup, and then I had a half of a fucking pita ham. Fuck, man, I can't even talk. Ham and cheese.
Holy crap, how strong is that
sandwich
fucking
on
liquor?
pita. I had a half a pita.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what's weird, though? I kind of felt, and I felt this today when I was doing my 5 mile. Cause
they feel it. They're going, look at Brittany's like, man, I miss Chinese buffet. Hell yes, I miss all that shit.
Well, we discovered that Koi Wan was still open, like, to a limited extent.
It's open, and the fucking buffet is rolling at Koi Wan.
But they're, like, taking precautions, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, buffets are germy at the best of times, but you know. So this morning when I was out, because yesterday I did a 3-mile hike with a 25-pound backpack.
Yeah.
And yesterday I think I only ate a protein bar and no, I didn't even eat a protein bar. I ate a bowl of leek soup and a cup of coffee, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then today when I was out doing my 5-mile walk, when I was walking, I thought to myself, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
I felt so good that it was like I was like euphoric. You know what I mean? And I haven't felt like that for like a really long time.
Not eating that much? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because I think the thing about my metabolism is very weird. And it took me a long time to realize this.
Now, Ken says Tom's philosophy is what's yours is mine and what mine is mine. That's right, Ken. That's the philosophy I have. I wish it was a reality because it's not real. It's a fantasy.
He just wants everyone's shit.
I wish all your shit was my shit. When I do take some shit every now and then, I fucking go, well, yeah, that's because I deserve that. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, I'm like y'all. I'm just trying to make it from one day to the next. You know what I mean?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
it's time.
I wouldn't take anybody else's shit because, like, the shit, man, they might be in a worse situation than me.
It's time.
I don't want to fuck them over even worse.
It's time for a comeback, though. It's time for a comeback. I'm tired of being in this house, man. Tired of being in this house with all this pandemic shit. Yeah, but I'm tired of being here with the pandemics and all this shit. We need to start making some fucking money. All these states need to open up when you start fucking making the money. I don't give a shit about these people, man. Come on.
He just wants everyone to die so he can...
So I can take their shit.
Do whatever he wants.
Oh, okay.
Just, you know.
I'm not worried about pandemics. Average age of anybody dying of these pandemics is 83. Man,
okay, but like...
You should have been dead.
If you die of COVID... I'm going to remind you that you said that. Like,
it's okay. I know. I'm ready. I'm ready to roll those dice. I'll roll those dice all the time. You see me roll the dice so many
Filthy Gardner says, this movie really got into Tom's head. It did. It gave him some ideas.
Mike's going, man, fucking good thing I gave Tom that movie. I influenced him.
I know, right? It's like, holy shit. Now he's going to, like, start kidnapping people. What am I going to do if he, like, brings somebody to the house and, like, expects me to, like, torture them and shit?
Actually, what those dudes did, actually, fucking, there was a lot of labor involved in that. You know what I mean?
It seems like there'd be easier, more efficient ways to do
honest
that.
Money. There's easier ways to make that.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, like, if your criminal enterprise, it has that many moving parts, I'm like, just get a job.
Well, don't you realize what the dude that they were torturing to try to get all his money was coming from a deli.
Yeah, well, among other things. But that wasn't the only business.
But that was one of his main businesses.
Yeah.
Open up a goddamn deli.
He owned a franchise, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, like I said, they didn't go into that in the movie, but he did own, like, a bunch of other companies, too. But, yeah, so they took
brick and mortar businesses can be rough. And the
restaurants are the hardest.
Is the restaurants.
Even before all this happened, that was like, what was it? Like only 5-10% of them like survived past a year or two.
If I were to open any kind of brick and mortar business or a physical business, and it was a restaurant, it would not be a restaurant per se. It would be a food truck.
I would rather have a food truck.
I'd much rather have a food truck.
I mean, that's a much lower...
Because you're not limited. You're not limited by your...
Well, yeah, and it's a much lower investment, obviously. Yeah. And you can have, like, a much more limited menu.
Yeah.
I mean, look how well...
Small, excellent menu.
Sure.
You move it around. You find where people are working. Guys on the construction sites. And you show up and you sell them a fucking lunch right there at the construction zone. That's how I
mean, I don't know about nowadays, but a few years ago... there was a fucking cupcake truck that went around Orlando.
The cupcake truck,
and that was that. I don't know if they're like out of business now, but I mean that did like amazing business for a few years.
The cupcake truck did so much good business that the city of Orlando banned food trucks.
Well, because they were taking business away from the restaurants downtown,
right?
And, like, the restaurant owners were complaining because they're like, look, the food trucks come down here and park, and we can't compete because their overheads are so much lower.
Food truck is the way to go. You only want 3 or 4 things on the menu that fucking dominate at a great price point. And you go out and you make your score, and then you come back and you fucking clean your truck.
I feel like if you're going to do a restaurant, I always just feel like, and we've talked about this before, because we watch like all Gordon Ramsay shit, and we're like fascinated by that kind of stuff.
The venue's too limited.
Well, I feel like if you really want to make an impact, you have to just focus on one thing.
Yeah.
And just do it better than anybody.
The problem with restaurants is that restaurants are location based. Everything is location, 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 location. If your location is not perfect, your restaurant is not perfect. If you've got a shitty location, you got to fucking... That menu has to be fine-tuned to that shitty location.
And so that people will come there specifically for that one
right.
thing that you do.
There are a couple of Cuban restaurants that are in a shitty locations, low-income locations that fucking boom. Because they sell one thing, and that is a Cuban lunch or a Cuban dinner. That's it. And it's cheap, because every Cuban will come from that area. And it's almost kind of like going through a damn chow hall. It's beans and rice and some kind of pork. Beans, rice, and pork. Beans, rice, and pork over and over and over again. And for $4, you can fucking eat your fill. And yeah, they're doing well. Is it a nice restaurant? No. It's not a nice restaurant. But is the food good? Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's making good profit. And
like
it's fine-tuned to that one thing. Feeding the neighborhood. You know?
I really do feel like if you're going... Because being in the restaurant business is so hard. Even before the pandemic and everything like that. Like, it was the hardest, retail-type business there was. Because there's so many. There's so much competition. And especially nowadays.
Yeah.
And I feel like the mistake that a lot of people made... Maybe not so much nowadays, but used to see this, like I said, we watched fucking Kitchen Nightmares and all that kind of crap. Like, a lot of the mistake that they would make was that they tried to please everybody. Like, so they would try to have this massive menu. It's like, hey, let's put all of this shit on here. Like, why not? And the menu is like fucking 30 pages long. I think Italian restaurants were the worst culprits for that. But I saw other restaurants doing it too. And they would just put everything on there. It's like, oh, one person told me they wanted this, so I put it on there. And it's like, if you have like 100 dishes on your fucking shit, you're not gonna be...
No. The menu, the more money you're losing.
Yeah, because it's like, you're not focusing on any one thing. It's like, everything is just gonna be okay or mediocre to shitty.
Sophie's in. How you doing, Sophie?
Hey, there you are.
You doing the research, Soph?
Quit picking on her.
Yeah. Now that seeing the movie got in my head. Omega Man Tom. Fido Montoya's called me Omega Man Tom.
Omega Tom.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was that? I feel like I was saying something about weight loss.
Everybody's
before.
talking. They're saying it was weight loss, and then all of a sudden they're talking about food, and everybody's hungry. Food trucks.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. It's like, I really have to, and it took me like probably 35 years to learn this, is that my particular body, for whatever reason, it feels much better, like, the less it eats. As long as I'm not starving, if I just eat like a little bit, like every 3-4 hours, like a little bit, like a cup of soup, or a protein bar or something like that, I feel much better than if I eat like a big... I mean, I told you this morning, yesterday I ate almost nothing. Like, I did eat, I'm not starving. But this morning I was out walking and I was like, holy fuck, man, I could walk all day. I feel like fucking Superwoman.
It's because you're burning your fat reserves.
Yeah, it felt really, really good. Yeah. So, that's just kind of like what... I don't know why. I just feel so much better like when I don't eat all that much. I mean, I love to eat. I'm not saying that. And I love food. And I love fattening food.
Yeah.
But...
I miss it, man. I gotta get back to this eating.
But my brain and my body are at cross purposes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we've always kind of gone through these cycles of fucking losing weight, gaining weight, eating, and diet. And you know what I mean? It's just kind of...
Which I've tried not to do that because my mom did that her whole life. And it's like, I just really wanted to, like, not do that.
Well, that's the way it is,
But it's really hard not to, because it's hard to maintain, because like I said, I started doing intermittent fasting, which, like I said, is basically, you can do it, there's, 2 or 3 different ways you can do it. You can do it like, a couple days a week I don't eat anything, and then the rest of the time I eat, like, reasonably. Or you can do, like, this day I'm going to eat 2,000 calories, this day I'm going to eat 500 calories, and you can, like, switch out. What I found works best for me is that every day you only have an 8-hour window to eat. And then there's a 16-hour window where you don't eat anything. Now, you can choose whenever you want that 8-hour window to be. It can be Mine is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you can eat. I don't eat whatever I want because I'm careful. But if you eat between 10 a.m., you can't eat after 6 p.m. and you can't eat before 10 a.m.
If y'all are enjoying the show, please send us a super chat. Been on here for about almost an hour and a half, 2 hours, and haven't had a single super chat. It's about time for us to get a couple of them flash bulbs. If you have any kind of questions you want to ask us, you can send us a question in the super chat, and we will change the topic of the show towards something that you want to talk about. Just anything, you know how it is. I'm passing around the collection.
Graham says alcohol has shit tons of calories, which is why
a lot of calories.
I didn't eat that much today because I knew that I would be having a couple drinks tonight. So I didn't eat that much today because I knew that I would be compensating.
Oh man.
So but I haven't had any alcohol since Saturday.
I'm missing Brazilian food.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make some coxinha. Little chicken legs.
Do you know what's weird? I was watching MasterChef last time. I'm watching MasterChef season 10 on Hulu. And one of the ladies on there made French toast.
Yeah.
And I was like, man. I haven't had French toast in like what? Oh my goodness. Okay.
What you do is you take French toast, right?
Hey.
And you make a ham, Swiss cheese, and turkey sandwich.
Okay, but I don't want all that.
With a little bit of fucking corn.
See, this is why I gained so much weight because sometimes I'm like, dude, I just want like plain French toast with like some spray butter and a tiny little skosh of syrup on it. Yeah. But he's like, no, we have to put eggs and bacon and ham and sugar and all this other stuff. And I was like, dude, really? We don't really need all that stuff on there. It's like, can we just have like just a simple? We just can't do that. Well, hey.
Pookie, what are you doing? What the fuck? I know what it is. She wants to go out.
She wants to go outside.
All right, Poke, I'll let you out.
It's 6:41. She hasn't been outside. Don't let her go far. She doesn't go far. She basically either stays on the back porch, stays on the front porch, or sits in the neighbor's bushes. Or yesterday, there's a little like our backyards, us and the three subsequent neighbors. Our backyards are kind of there's no fences or anything in between, so it's just open. And there's a little bitty pond. It's not even a lake or anything. It's like a glorified puddle, really. And she was down there sitting by the bank, and there's little bitty fish in there, and she was watching that. She was like trying to catch the little fish that were like popping out of the fucking pond. So that's about as far as she goes. Every now and then she'll go under the fence, but there's a fence, and then there's a little strip of woods, and then there's like the trail that I walk on. So, and then there's like another bit of woods, and then there's a road. So she's never been that far. Mostly she'll go under the fence, and then she'll just sit and like watch people going by, like on the trail. Which I don't like it, but I got outvoted. I didn't want to, when we got her as a kitten, I was like, can we please like not let her go outside? But, that's not what happened, so, Yeah, Zach says slow metabolism. See, I feel like as soon as I hit puberty, man, because I was skinny when I was a kid, real skinny. All my siblings were also skinny when we were kids. Then as soon as we hit puberty, ploop, we just plumped right out. And then it was like really, really hard to, when I was in high school, I was like, man, fuck it. I don't like PE. I don't like any of that kind of shit. I'm more of a like fucking, I'm more of a like intellect. I want to read and like fucking do art and make things. I don't want to like fucking run around. Fuck that. So, I gained a lot of weight. Then I met my first husband when I was 22, I want to say. And he was real skinny, and he was like real into fitness. He was like a soccer player and a runner and shit. So I kind of got into that for a little while, and then I lost a bunch of weight. And then just slowly over time, it kind of creeps up. It's like, it's not even anything that you do, because I feel like a lot of times I'm not eating an unreasonable amount, because I see other people eating. This is like really funny, but it's like, sometimes I see people eating, like skinny people. I'll see them like in a restaurant or in Starbucks or something. Like I'll see a skinny girl in Starbucks, and she has this fucking venti caramel macchiato with whipped cream and all that. I'm like, bitch, are you going to throw that up later? It's like, how does that work? I'm not allowed to do that. It's like, how does that happen? Because I feel like I see people, like skinny people, like eating regular amounts of food, and I just feel like I'm not allowed to do that, because if I ate a regular amount of food, I would weigh 400 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So, I have a little resentment about it. Not saying that, but it's genetic. What are you going to do about it? Probably to some extent.
Look at him. Look at everybody talking about.
DJ Maniacs.
Everybody's talking about how fat or skinny they are.
At one point, I got down. This was right around the time.
Sophie's talking like she's fat. Sophie, you're
oh
not
my
fat.
God, Sophie, no, sweetie, honey.
Well, she did gain some weight from the COVID thing of being depressed up in the house, but that's still not the same as being fat.
Yeah, that's not even.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
So you need to come back and see us in a couple months too. Once all this shit blows over, we need to, when Florida starts fucking rocking, and fucking everything starts coming back. I'm hoping that shit will start fucking coming back soon.
It'll be all right.
You'd have a fucking blast over here, and fucking the business will probably make more money then. We'll see.
But yeah, so what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
Talking about Sophie getting fat. You were saying.
I know, but like right before that, I was talking about something else, and
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
From AKA Dark Skull. Yeah. Aw, thank you so much. Our first.
Thanks, Joe, man. Finally getting some super chats. We're up here working, and fucking Joe comes in and throws a motherfucker $20.
I'm having a good time though.
I love this shit. Yeah, we're having a good time. We're hoping that you guys have a good time.
I look forward to these.
If I can hand out drinks, I got enough booze here to hand out drinks to everybody in the chat right now.
We have so much booze here that if I drank
Florida
it all, then I would be dead by the morning.
We'd be having a fucking house party in here. The only thing I don't have is a pool. The neighbor has a pool.
The community has a pool.
The community has a pool.
And the neighbor has a pool.
Yeah.
Wait, there's somebody living there, right?
There's a second super chat. Ain't that some shit?
Oh, thank you, Ken.
Ken? Yeah. Thanks, Ken.
We can maybe go over. I don't know the neighbors.
No, they won't let us. Actually, he's pretty cool. He just painted his house. I was talking to him the other day.
They make a lot of noise though.
Yeah.
Well, no, their dogs do.
Yeah.
Wait, is that their dog?
Yeah, it's their dog.
Is that their kid?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because here's the thing. Here's my office. The window is right there. Thank you, Tammy. The window is right there.
Tam.
And their house is maybe 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Like their backyard. And they have a pool, and it's like a little bit of a... It's not even a... Like
everybody's buying us a drink. That's awesome. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. That right there made the fucking night worth it. Just fucking... Just to have a few super chats. I'm sorry, people. I'm fucking loaded. I can't even fucking finish.
Some supper chats.
Supper.
But yeah, so...
I wish you guys were over here with fucking... I'd pass out drinks. We'd all fucking have a good time.
Yeah, but, well, you know, we're having a good time.
It's not even hot outside. Went outside and it's...
What are you talking about? It's like 80 degrees.
No, it's mild.
Is it?
Yeah, it's mild.
Okay.
It was maybe like 72. And
when we first started the show...
maybe 50% humidity only. Yeah.
I went out this morning at 7, and it was 70-something degrees, and it was humid because it was super foggy.
Yeah.
Not unpleasant, but it's not like January. It's not like wintertime. It's kind of like... Really? Yeah. Like, I wore a sleeveless shirt, and I was totally fine. But yeah, so what I was saying was, like, the neighbor is, like, right there. So anytime they do yard work, or their kid is outside in the pool, or their dog is outside, I can hear it like it's right in the fucking room.
Yeah.
So, you know. It's weird because these houses are, like, kind of expensive, but...
Tila showed up. How you doing, T?
The walls are, like, paper thin, man.
Yeah.
I can hear everything that's going on next door.
Yeah. T says she just got the night off. Yeah.
All right. Well, shit, we can't leave now.
Yeah, can't leave now. Got T online. T, we were talking about this movie all night. If you haven't seen this one, you need to see this one.
And like, look into the real case that inspired that.
Because it's a true life. It's a true.
It's the most Florida thing that you have ever heard of.
It's a true crime story happening in Florida, down in fucking Miami. some muscleheads in a gym decide to fucking become millionaires
by
kidnapping a rich fucking dude, fucking rich Venezuelan, no, rich Colombian Jewish guy, and they were gonna steal all his shit. They stole all. And this shit is funny as fuck.
Also, they murdered some people.
Yeah, funny as fuck though. And the tone was
but the
just
movie's
right.
funny.
It's a Michael Bay movie. It's a low budget Michael Bay movie that knocks it out of the park.
A relatively low.
With the Rock. It's got the Rock on it. It's got fucking Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson is the Rock.
Yeah.
It's got Dwayne Johnson. It's got Mark Wahlberg in it. And it's got Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie knocks it out of the park like a fucking young, like a young Eddie Murphy, really.
I know what you're.
It's fucking great, man. Yeah, imagine a young Eddie Murphy on roids, on roid rage. Shit's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's just a good flick. It's a good dark comedy. Bay he just nailed the tone. To where...
Yeah, it's like some horrible shit happens,
Yeah.
but it's still hilarious just because you're seeing everything from the criminal's point of view, and the criminals are dumb as rocks.
Yeah. It's these likable...
But they think they're kind of smart and
likable, dumb as shit criminals trying to fucking come up in the world down in Miami. And they fucking kill people, they do stupid shit. But there's still something kind of funny about it, even though there's something kind of horrible about it. It's just, the tone was perfect.
Yeah, they really did kind of nail it. I have
perfect.
to say. I felt kind of bad, but not bad enough that I wasn't like shrieking with laughter.
Well, they said they were trying to match the tone of the people that actually did all the investigations and went through the trial. Because they were laughing too.
Can you believe this shit?
It was just what happens when fucking losers... when losers try to make it in the big time.
Yeah, they're punching way above their weight, but in a way that they fall down pathetically and flail
and they're
around.
still kind of lovable. They're not.
I kind of think that's what makes it work, maybe.
Yeah.
Graham asks, "Can you hear the cockroaches holding hands?" Well, I don't know about that, but you can hear cockroaches crawling across the wall, though.
Not here. Not in this house.
I have heard that, well, in my old house that I lived in.
Not in this house.
Because every now and then, you would wake up in the middle of the night and you would hear...
Yeah.
You'd hear that. And I'd be like, oh shit, there's a fucking roach in here.
Joe, I'm glad you're having a better time, fucking Joe. I'm feeling a little bit better. Alcohol's starting to kick in. I'm drunk sick. I'm sick drunk. I was sick, and now that I'm drunk, I feel a little bit better.
Drick.
Yeah.
Or sprunk? Yeah. I don't know
good
what you would call that.
Good to see you too, T.
Alcohol is good for you, because I feel like... Because I had that shit too, but I feel like it only lasted approximately 8 hours.
Yeah.
And it was very mild, and then it just kind of went away, and then I was like, I hate to tell you this, but I feel pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So...
Okay.
My system is probably too toxic for even COVID to survive in.
T says, Marky Mark and the Rock, I'm there. Add it to my watch list. And then she goes, Victor, I think Marky Mark is Mark Wahlberg.
Well, yeah, that's the joke that he said. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Mark Wahlberg.
Well, I loved in Boogie Nights and Rockstar. Then you will love this movie.
Yeah, it's very much a Dirk Diggler kind of vibe that he's giving off in this. Like I said... Somebody that's an idiot, but that doesn't know they're an idiot.
Yeah. Fucking Mark plays a guy who is a fucking kind of like a... He's a 2-bit guy in Florida down in Miami. All right? And he's working at a gym. And he's a personal trainer. He's fucking jacked. And he goes and he's very optimistic in life. And he goes to see a fucking motivational speaker. Who's kind of like a fucking... I'm thinking it was probably... what's his name? Fucking, what was that motivational speaker's name? Fucking, from the
Tony Robbins.
I think it was Tony Robbins from the fucking...
Or it might have been Zig Ziglar.
Might have been Zig Ziglar.
Although there was a lot of motivational speakers going around. Because here's the thing, like in the 90s, I worked at a lot of like, corporate or corporate adjacent jobs. And there were a lot of those kind of life coach, corporate kind of, there was all of that going around. That was like a very big thing. So I feel like that might have been, I don't know. I think of Zig Ziglar because a manager that we had was really, really into him and like had all his books and stuff.
So he goes,
and I just thought it was very.
He goes to this Anthony Robbins style fucking motivational fucking course. And his head gets big as shit. He's going to become like this fucking rich and famous fucking...
I'm a doer.
Yeah, I'm a doer.
Not a don'ter.
I'm going to actually do this shit. South Florida got a hold of his ass, all right? And he wants to have mansions and a big fucking, fast cars and crap.
He wants to do blow up.
So, of course, the only way you're going to do that as a fucking musclehead is to fucking... kidnap some rich dude and make him sign over all his shit, which he does. They kidnap this dude to make him sign over all his shit. Fucking The Rock's there. It's just, it's a great movie. The whole show tonight was about this movie.
Well, more or less. We went off.
And it is a true story. This actually did happen.
Largely, it is. Some of it's exaggerated, but
it's
not
a true crime
much.
story.
Not much.
And it's a Michael Bay movie. It's a low budget Michael Bay movie. But Michael Bay knocks it out of the fucking park, and the entire cast knock it out of the fucking park. And what's funny is that they got Wahlberg and they got fucking Dwayne Johnson on there, but really the third guy was Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, why didn't they put him on the cover?
He should have been there too.
He's kind of like his agent should sue.
They're like, what the fuck? I gotta sue that shit. What? I'm black? I can't be on the cover.
Yeah, it's like what? Only white dudes can be on the cover.
But okay. Anthony Mackie is the fucking. He plays a role that fucking a young Eddie Murphy would have played back in the 80s, and they fucking knock it out of the park. And the three dudes go out and they try this big fucking caper. They get caught, of course, but that's all true crime.
Well, they got caught because they're retarded.
They were fucking retarded, but the shit was funny as fuck. And the movie is Florida as fuck. Florida as fuck.
It is.
You can't get more Florida than that.
Like I said, other than that dude eating that other dude's face off, I don't know how much.
It's the only thing more Florida than that.
Well, okay, no, you can get more Florida than that because if there was someone, let's just have a hypothetical example. And to be honest, I'm from Florida. I'm sure this has probably happened at some point. So some dude with a mullet tells some other dude with a mullet that he has made a pumpkin cannon, okay? Mm-hmm. And so they do that, and then it messes up his El Camino, and then they get in a gun battle, and then that guy kills that other dude's wife, and then cuts her up and feeds her to alligators, and then, you know what I mean? So it's like, so there could be a more Florida thing, and like I said, the thing that I just said, I'm sure that could probably happen at some point, but... This is one of the most Florida things that has ever happened or ever will happen. Like I said, I'm surprised more alligators weren't involved. Although the Everglades were involved because the two people that they killed, they did cut them up, put them in barrels, at least parts of them, and put them in the Everglades. Although alligators couldn't get to them because they were in barrels, and alligators can't bite through barrels, at least as far as I know. Although... Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they could. But, did you guys, seriously, I don't even know if it's still there, but one of my favorite places to go when I was a kid, growing up in Florida, was the alligator farm in St. Augustine. Yeah. Now, they used to have Gomek, who was the largest crocodile in captivity. Now, as you will know, like, alligators are native to Florida. Crocodiles, native to... the Everglades. Now, as far as I know, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Everglades might be the only place in the world where alligators and crocodiles are both native to the area. Yes?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm not sure if that's still true or not. But for a long time, that was true. So, but they had caught this particular crocodile, Gomek, in New Guinea, I want to say. And... he was at the alligator farm in St. Augustine. Now, he's dead now, and he's stuffed there. But I went to the alligator farm when that bitch was still alive, and that was the most terrifying thing that I have ever fucking seen.
Read what T said. She's talking
say?
about fucking. She says, well, she says right there. Speaking
Florida
of
as
gators,
fuck needs to go on a license plate.
Yeah, speaking of gators, did you see the movie Crawl?
We did. We saw it in the theater. We saw it in the theater, actually.
Yeah.
That was a very Florida movie, also.
Yeah.
That totally seemed like something that could legitimately happen.
Yeah.
Because
I laughed through most of it. I thought it was kind of corny, but
it was kind of fun corny, though.
Yeah. I was just glad that I was on that fucking AMC fucking list, A-list, and I didn't have to pay to see that movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, like I said, it was fun. It was just like a monster movie.
It was a monster movie, but had I paid $10 to see that movie, I probably would have been mad. But because, you know what I mean, we could see, 3 movies a week on the A-list, I was happy.
Although the whole
I thought it was funny.
The whole time I was watching it, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I've lived through a lot of hurricanes in my time in Florida. I feel like that shit could pretty easily happen. I mean, we have a pond right down there. Yeah. And then there's a way bigger pond right down there. And maybe alligators in there, probably
you need
alligators
to get some
in
video
there.
of me fucking dressed up in my fucking jungle outfit, fucking going down there and fucking going into the water, catching some gators. Imagine what that would do for the channel.
You want to go wrestle alligators?
Wrestling like a 6-foot alligator.
Okay, well, we need to go to that little swampy area over there. Because
I haven't seen any gators down at that other one. I gotta check.
I've heard them though.
Yeah, I've heard the calls.
Not there, not where Pookie goes. And there's like a bigger pond. Yeah. They have a sign there. It's like, hey, don't swim in here. Maybe there's alligators. I've never seen one. I don't know if there's any in there, but I've never seen one. Now, the little swampy area that is... How far is that from us as the crow flies?
About a half mile.
Yeah, it's not far. Like, it seems far when you're walking on the path because it's roundabout.
Y'all think I'm bullshitting. I'll jump in there and grab a gator.
But...
I will grab an alligator. Now, I'm not going to grab a fucking 12-footer. But 5, 6 foot, yeah, maybe. I'd grab him.
Well, as long as you get his jaw, you're all right.
I know how to do it.
Get his jaw.
Yeah. I used to do that kind of shit when I was a kid. Yeah, but they were much smaller. But I'm stronger now. I go in there and get him. I'm not worried about it.
As long as... Okay.
They bite you. They can't do much to you. I mean...
You might just lose a hand. Who needs that? Who needs that? I've got another one. No. But, yeah.
They're making it into something that it isn't.
Did you see that picture? Remember that picture that made the rounds a few years ago of the alligator with his mouth closed and it was like a human hand sticking out? And everyone thought it was fake? It wasn't, though. Yeah. That was like a dude that was... Well, he worked with them. And
alligators cannot chew. And
no, they swallow everything whole.
Yeah, they swallow everything whole. And the kind of teeth that they have, it's very difficult for them to bite anything off. They have to roll. And they don't really become dangerous until they get to a certain size. An alligator that weighs about what I weigh or a little bit less, I'm not really worried about that. I'd take his ass. You know what I mean? But when you're dealing with like a fucking 8-foot alligator, every foot you add onto that alligator, they exponentially get harder and harder to deal with. A fucking 12-foot alligator is fucking monstrous. It's not... One guy's not going to be able to do that.
Well, and I have to tell you that the ones that they had at the alligator farm, and I realize this is a crocodile, which is a completely different species, but the one that the crocodile that they had Gomek at the alligator farm, which, as I said, the first time I saw him, he's still alive. Like, when I went back later, he died and they'd stuffed him. But when you saw him alive... It was legitimately... He was as big around as... How many people do I want to say?
How long was it?
He was 18 feet, 19 feet, maybe 20.
That's fucking huge.
But it wasn't...
That's about...
It wasn't the length that disturbed me. It was the width. Yeah. He was about... At least 5 people wide.
Yeah, if you were to stack 5 people in the fucking...
He was this, like, fucking, like
and
that.
They're strong. They get tired quick, but they're strong.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I was like, because what they used to have, they had him, like, in an enclosure. It was pretty big. And then you could see him from up top, or you could go underneath, and there was, like, a tank, and you could see him from underneath, through the window and everything. So you could kind of see him, and it's like, I couldn't believe, I was just like sitting there looking at it, I couldn't believe how fucking huge he was.
Yeah.
It was just like the big, and it was like really, really upsetting. Like for some reason, I'm scared of sharks too. So sharks are terrifying. But for some reason, alligators and crocodiles are like way scarier to me. I don't know why. I don't want to get eaten by a shark either, but I for real don't want to get eaten by an alligator or a crocodile. Do you remember that one that like fucking ran across the golf course?
Yeah, that was a dinosaur.
Oh my god.
Like it was like a dragon.
And that's the thing, it's like you never know growing up, like living in Florida, you never know when shit like that is just going to wander. But because I might have told this story before, but
there's also invasive species here, like pythons.
Well, yeah,
boa constrictors are fucking huge.
I was driving from Daytona to DeLand one time, and on 92, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden I see this massive alligator hauling ass across 6 lanes of traffic.
Yeah.
And a median. And I'm just like, I'm driving and I'm just like, what the fuck am I looking at? It was like so fucking surreal. He was booking it. And he was big. And he was just like running, and he almost got hit. Like this car was like, and like on the other side. And it was just, oh my god, it was like the fucking craziest shit I'd ever seen. Now when I was a kid, an alligator got run over by my elementary school. It wasn't massive, but it wasn't small either. Like, somebody had hit it with their car, and it had eventually killed it, and, like, some other people had run it over. So, it's not an everyday sighting, but it's the kind of thing where if you see it, you're surprised, but you're not all that surprised. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, the fact that I was just seeing this massive alligator just hauling ass across 6 lanes of highway while I was driving, I was kind of like, wow, this is crazy, but also...
Tila's saying is one deadlier than another. I think she's talking about crocodiles and alligators.
Crocodiles are generally more aggressive.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fucking people that have kind of like... There's been a lot of talk, you know. People will say, look, man, a crocodile is worse than an alligator. And other people will say, well, no, an alligator is probably worse than a crocodile. If it doesn't live in your area, then it's worse than what you have. That's the general rule. Crocodile is probably a little bit more aggressive when it comes to fucking grabbing somebody.
Yeah.
All right. But alligators, I believe, get bigger. Or at least if you listen to the rumors.
Well, crocodiles get bigger.
Crocodiles get bigger?
In general.
But it depends on the rumors and the proof.
Well, it depends on the species, is what it depends on.
Because I've heard rumors that there are Louisiana and Florida alligators that have gotten much bigger than crocodiles could ever get.
Which is true, but I don't know if it's just rumors or not.
That's what I'm saying. It's different. It's rumors and proof. I don't know.
Right. Of all the species that they've collected, generally crocodiles are larger.
Maybe.
Generally.
Of the ones maybe collected.
But there's several different... Well, the thing about it, too, is that there's several different species of crocodiles. There's several different species.
There's something...
We have American alligators.
Yeah, there's a weird thing. There's almost kind of like a weird phenomenon. If it's American, then it's not exotic. That's the phenomenon. All right. If it's American, then it can't be bigger, or it can't be better, or it can't be stranger. There's no telling. The Florida Everglades are fucking huge. You go down to New Orleans. There are fucking swamps down in New Orleans that fucking probably no one's ever fucking actually set foot on. There's all kinds of weird shit out there that nobody knows about, you know?
Like skunk ape.
Skunk ape shit.
Dude, is it raining?
Yeah, it's raining. It's difficult to say.
What the fuck?
Some people will defend the American alligator, saying that the American alligator is bigger than the crocodile, that it just is.
But like I said,
they may not show the proof.
It depends on what kind of crocodile you're talking about. There's a bunch of different species of crocodile. And as I said, if you go to the alligator farm in St. Augustine, which I've been to lots of times, I haven't been there in years, but they actually have all the alligators there, which, like I said, if you go on a certain day, you can see them fed, which is fascinating and also terrifying. But they also have this whole walkthrough, and they have a whole bunch of different species of crocodiles also. so it's really interesting to see like the different, because they have some that are kind of like needle nosed, and they have some that are like this. So they have all different kinds.
There were animals in the early 1900s that were reported, and we don't have proof of. But I'll tell you this. In New Orleans, in the early 1900s, in the 20s and the 30s, they had paddle boats. They had big electric contraptions on the front of them. And the whole job was to run around and try to find alligator gar and electrocute them. Because they were convinced that the alligator gar was a threat to mankind. They were saying that some of these alligator gar, and an alligator gar is a fish. It's a prehistoric fish.
Yeah, it's not anything to do with, it's not a reptile.
Nothing to do with an alligator.
It's a fish.
But they were saying that these things were 20 feet long.
I believe that.
And that they were eating
I've seen some big ones back when I was a kid.
Right. And they were also saying that there were alligator out there that were 22, 23, 24, 25 feet long.
Don't doubt it.
Monstrous alligators.
Don't doubt it.
But we're talking about the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you don't know
that
how
was a long time
seriously
ago.
you can take that.
You don't know if they knew what they were talking about or not. Some people have said, well, you're talking about the early 1900s, and you're talking about animals that had lived longer than 100 years old to get that big. They're probably not living long enough to get as big as they could possibly get.
I kind of feel like that might be the case.
And there's some proof of this. Because there are European woodcuts from the Middle Ages, back, in the 1300s, 1200s, way back in the honky motherland, showing fucking catfish next to a cow, and they're the same size as a cow. And people used to think that was a fucking lie. But that guy from fucking Deadliest Catches, what was his name? Fucking, we used to watch him all the time.
Yeah, fucking Jeremy.
Jeremy. What's it? Not Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy. What was his name?
That's the point.
Jeremy Wade.
Yeah.
Jeremy Wade.
Not Ron Jeremy.
Jeremy Wade was proven that things like catfish, if allowed to live long enough, can get fucking huge.
Because he caught some big fucking...
Huge
big
catfish. Okay. Well, the medievals in Europe didn't have fucking block and tackle. They didn't have rod and reel. So they weren't out there
Well, they didn't have
catching.
Industrial fishing.
Yeah.
So they weren't, like, culling the population of the largest members.
So some of these European lakes had sea monsters in them, which were gigantic catfish that could swallow a man.
Because, honestly, some of the catfish that he caught...
were huge.
Were terrifying.
Huge. So he's like, okay,
they could easily fit a man's head and shoulders in their mouth.
And he's like, this catfish might be 60, 70 years old. How long do they live? What happens if you get a catfish that's 120 years old? How big is that? And then he would show those old woodcuts. Because that looks like about right. You know what I mean?
That's totally...
That's about doable.
Yeah, that's plausible.
Because some of these animals can live... A snapping turtle, they don't know how long a snapping turtle could live. They get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I've seen snapping turtle that big around in Mississippi, and I don't think they were that big, maybe 30 years. But how big are they at 120?
Well, that's the thing about reptilians is that we're not really sure. The thing about a lot of reptilians, alligators and stuff like that, is that they tend to just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
If they, are not impeded in some way, if their environment isn't encroaching on them in some way, and if they have enough to eat, then they'll just continue to grow. Now, and they don't really... I'm not really sure, what their outside lifespan is.
Yeah, nobody knows how long an alligator lives.
Victor says, Betty White is 99 and she's not that big.
Nobody knows how long an alligator lives. There's been records or recorded stories of guys buying alligators that were in their 90s when they bought them. And they were huge. And then they keep these fucking things for fucking decades. The guy dies in his fucking 80s. And the alligator is found dead in the habitat that he made for it. But it died of starvation, not old age. And the fucking alligator's fucking huge.
The old bitch died and didn't feed.
Right. So,
asshole.
could be that an alligator might live to be 120, 130 years old. Well, how big is that? Is that 24 feet? You know? So we don't know.
I mean, the thing about it is that if they grow to bigger than Gomek was, because like I said, I saw him when he was alive and that was a crocodile, then I'm about to piss my pants because that fucking shit was terrifying. It's still scary to look at now that because he's been stuffed and posed and everything. Like they have a really nice display, like with pictures of him when he was alive and stuff. But I saw him when he was alive, and I can imagine, like, what the fuck? I was thinking to myself the whole time. I was like safely in the shit, like looking at him through the fucking window, looking at this fucking giant belly that could fit like 10 of me. And I was just sitting there thinking, what if I was just minding my own business, swimming along in Alexander Springs or Blue Springs or whatever, like all the nice springs we have here in Central Florida. What if I was just swimming along and then I saw that coming toward me? I would shit my pants and then just probably die spontaneously, and then he would just eat me. Because he was like a monster. He was like a monster. Yeah. And I've never forgotten that. Like from that day to this. Like I said, I went back later and I saw him like after he had died, and I saw him when he was stuffed, and it's still scary, but it wasn't the same as seeing him when he was like alive and moving around and shit.
When I was a kid, I'm talking about 12, I went fishing in the bayou in Louisiana around an uncle. And he caught an alligator gar that was probably about 9 feet long. And I was fucking astounded. Like, that thing is fucking huge. And he was an old man. He was in his 60s, late 60s at the time that he did that he caught it. And he was like, oh, that's a little one. When I was a kid, they were twice this big. And I thought he was bullshitting. But then as time went on, no, he was probably telling the truth. A lot of the American stuff that we take for granted back in the day of the early 1900s was a lot bigger because it was allowed to grow to a larger size.
Well, yeah, like I said, you didn't have industrial farming. You didn't have a bunch of widespread. Sure.
You didn't have a bunch of people out there fishing all the time. Right. You didn't have all that. So.
And like you said, Jeremy Wade kind of went into this on River Monsters. Right. Is that why you don't catch shit like that nowadays?
It was some shit straight out of Dagobah. Fucking, you know what I mean? Dagobah with fucking Yoda. I was like, goddamn, look at the size of that thing.
Well, they
don't get as big as they used to.
The thing about Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, all that kind of stuff is that this environment, this climate, fosters things to kind of get as big as they can possibly get, because the environment is just so lush and fertile that, which in a way is bad because we have a lot of invasive species. Like, seriously, like some rich dude like imports, hey, I'm gonna have all these exotic animals or whatever, and then he dies and they all escape or whatever happens, and then they all escape into the wild and they're like, hey, I kind of like this environment, I'm just gonna deal with this, and then they take over like the whole local ecosystem because it's hot here, it's wet, it's like there's plentiful kind of foliage, there's plentiful other little animals you can feed on, there's just all kind of wildlife, so it's like anything that you let loose in Florida will probably just fucking take over.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of the environment that we live in. It's like, it's just swampy, like you said, it's like Dagobah.
Yeah.
If that sounds like something you'd like, then sure, move to Florida. But I'm warning you, if you don't like feeling like wet all the time, like your butt crack is just damp and you can't, like, seriously, you take a shower and you dry off, but you don't dry off because you're still sweaty. If you want to feel like that, then move to, like, all the time, then move to Florida. Because that's kind of what it feels like all the time.
There was an airplane pilot that was flying over somewhere in New Orleans, or in the Orlando, not New Orleans, in the, what am I talking about?
Tila says, first time I saw an armadillo was in Florida. I see armadillos all the time.
There
Most of them are dead. I have to admit, they get hit by cars. But I do see live ones while I'm walking. Like, there's a lot of them along the path. I see them, like, snuffling around and whatnot. Yeah. They're super cute.
They're blind and they can't smell too well.
They love deer's buttholes.
Yeah. Love deer's buttholes. There was some program we were watching where a pilot was flying over some kind of bayou in Louisiana. And was it an alligator that he saw? You were watching it with me. Was it an alligator or was it an alligator gar?
I thought it was a snake, but
No, I think it was an alligator.
Okay, maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
It was an alligator, and by his estimation, it was well over 20 feet long.
Which, that does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
And he took a picture of... He went back later and took a picture of where it was, and then drew out how big it looked. It was well over 20 feet. And they were trying to find that alligator. Remember that?
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
I think it was an alligator.
I mean, because the thing is, like, the trail that I walk on, the Seminole Wekiva Trail, like, a little over a mile up the road, there's a little scenic overlook, and there's, like, a little swamp area. Now, I have never seen an alligator in there. However, I have heard them multiple times, because the mama alligators make that weird sound to their babies.
Like a grunting sound?
Yeah, that weird, like... kind of noise, like, and sometimes when you walk by there, like, you can hear their little sound that they make, so you know that they're in there, but I've never actually seen one. You know what's weird? Okay, so the other morning, because I walk this trail like every day, so the other morning I'm up there, there's an overlook, there's the swamp, and then over here
is in. What's up, Con? What's up, bro?
Over here there's like a little thing, there's like a little bike rack, so you can park your bike there, and there's little benches and a trash can or whatever. So I'm walking by there, and right by the bike rack there was a pair of almost new, like, wading boots, like rubber boots, and they almost looked like kid or teenage kid size.
Yeah. And
they were just left there by the bike rack, and there was nobody around. And I'm just like, looking at him, and I'm like, I wonder what happened to the person that owned those fucking boots. I'm like, did they take those boots off and then an alligator came up and ate them? Or did they fall in the swamp and then they drowned? Or, like, I couldn't figure it out. And I just kept, like, I walked past there a couple days and, like, those boots were there. And it was just, like, mystifying. And I was like, whose are those? It's like, why are those there? And then, like, a couple days later, I walked past and they were gone. So I don't know if somebody just took them or if somebody ate that person, or I don't really know. It was just like, it was just really, it was weird. Because the boots were small enough that they could have been, like, a kid or maybe a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they didn't look old or worn out. But they didn't look... Oh my god.
Damn.
They didn't look brand new either. They looked like they'd been used, like, maybe a time or two. But it looked like someone had took them off deliberately, like, by the bike rack. But there was no bike there. There was no nothing. And it's like... So, like, then the whole time, like, I'm a horror writer. So I was, like, sitting there, like, thinking up all these scenarios in my brain as to what had happened to this person. And I still don't fucking know.
Turn the volume up. Instead, the sound's getting kind of low.
Oh, okay. Well, it's all the way up.
It is all the way up? It's all the way up, bro.
The mic is all the way up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I still don't know what happened to those boots or that person. And that was, like, right across from the Potwoods where those people live. There's these people, they live, like, there's the overlook, and then right across from that, there's a little bit of woods, and then there's a house. And the house has, like, a whole bunch of, like, some outbuildings, and they sell firewood and shit like that. And I'm pretty sure, allegedly, that they sell pot or that they grow pot in the woods, because every now and then, when I walk past that area, it's, like, really, really pungently weed smelling. Not every day, it's just maybe once a month. And I'm like, are they, like, trying out their new batch, or what's the deal? Like, because there's nothing back there in the woods as far as I know. There's a little bit of a path, but there's a house, and he's got, like, a little boat, and he's got, like, a couple outbuildings, like, little garages and shit. I don't know. I feel like they're probably growing pot back there. But like I said, I'm not going to fucking narc on them because why would I? But, you know, I'm just saying. So I don't know who those fucking boots were. The weird thing, too, is that the other day, and I just, now that I'm thinking about it, I only just remember this. I was out there the other day. I don't think this was the same day I saw the boots. But when I was walking back toward that area, I saw something run across the trail. Now, there was two of them. There was one and it ran across into the woods, and then another one ran across into the woods. Too small to be a deer. I've seen deer run across there, even like little fawns and shit like that. I've seen that. It was too small to be that. Not a cat. It wasn't moving like a cat. It wasn't an otter, because I've seen otters run across there too, weirdly enough. And it wasn't a dog. So I'm not real sure. I don't know. Like, I got up there, and I feel like there was a dude, like, walking up the opposite way, and I think he saw it too, because he kept, like, looking in the woods, and I'm just like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, I don't know. So I saw something, like, run across there, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I mean, is this Florida? It could be literally anything. Seriously. And like I said, I've seen otters lots of times. So, which is weird because there's like water over there and they go into the woods and do whatever otters do when they go in the woods. I don't know. I don't know if there's other water over there. I don't think so. But, so they run across every now and then and they go back to the water. So I've seen that. And like I said, it wasn't a cat. It wasn't a dog. It wasn't a deer. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a raccoon. Or a possum.
I let Feeky in.
Oh, she came back in?
Do you want granola bar?
No.
Okay.
But I'll save it for tomorrow.
All right.
I wouldn't mind another drink, though.
Okay. Here.
I was just talking about all the various wildlife that I see out on the fucking trail. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Brittany says, we get a lot of snapping turtles. I see them every now and then. I haven't seen one in a long time. We get a lot of those, just the little slow tortoises. I see them in the grass on the side of the trail sometimes. I did see a raccoon the other day, though. Like, I know, because you said, Straw Dog said it was probably a raccoon. It wasn't a raccoon, though, because we see raccoons all the time, and it wasn't moving like a raccoon. It didn't have a tail like a raccoon. It wasn't the same size as a raccoon. I saw a raccoon the other day that I think might have been a juvenile, because its body was about the size of an adult, but the tail wasn't all like fully fluffed out yet. So I feel like it was maybe a teenager. And plus its fur was not, it didn't have, thank you. It didn't have like all the adult coloring. You know what I mean? And shit, man, we've got raccoons. Did we say that, like, Feeky, we found Feeky the other night sitting next to a raccoon under a tree in the backyard. Yeah. Just sitting there.
You're just showing me. Look.
It's my friend.
Yeah.
It's my friend.
Funny.
And Beijing loves raccoons. Like, whenever some raccoons, like, you know, kind of traipse along into our backyard, if Beijing is outside, she is kind of like, she goes up to him like, oh, let me join your family. I also have a fluffy tail. I think it's because they all have fluffy tails. I think she feels like an affinity. I'm not really sure why. It's really weird to me how not, even though it's a different species and you would think that they would smell weird or something like that, but there doesn't seem to be like animosity between the two species, which is very strange.
No, cats and raccoons love each other.
Which that's so weird.
Yeah.
Because, like, every now and then, like, we'll get a possum, too, every now and then. Like, because remember when last time we grilled, and then, I guess, like, possum everywhere, like, smelled the fucking meat or smelled whatever, and they came and, like, were like, ooh, and they were trying to, like, climb around the grill or whatever. And then Feeky was, like, alarming us. It's like, hey, there's an ugly cat out here. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck is this? It stinks. And then we came out and we saw the possum. So they're not super into possum. Now, I had an old cat when I was younger that actually got into a fight with a possum, and the possum tore the top of her lip off, like right here. Like, they got into a fight and the possum like bit her mouth and it tore like a part of her lip off. So cats and possums seem to be like not so friendly, but cats and raccoons, that seems to be a different issue, and that is very strange to me. But I've seen a lot of videos where with cats and ravens, cats and owls, cats and a lot of other, I mean, I don't know. I think people have like a misconception that cats are just, oh, they're predators, so they just like hate everybody and they just want to kill everybody, but I don't think that's the case.
Sophie says she thinks cats and skunks like each other too. It's just, there's all kinds of weird shit happening in the animal kingdom. There just is.
It's very, very funny to me. Like interspecies friendships are fascinating to me.
Yeah. Well, they're not competitors, evidently.
I guess that must be what it is. So maybe they're just more interested in each other than anything else.
But what's funny is that a cat will reject another cat. It'll hiss at it.
Well, yeah, they're like, oh,
but
that's
cat
another
will
kitty.
see a fucking raccoon and go, oh, wow. You know, and then like,
look how pretty.
Yeah, wow.
He has little human hands.
Right, yeah. It's weird.
Because like I said, there used to be, where I used to work, had, it was a newspaper and there was a massive parking lot. And I used to work the night shift, and there was a little family of raccoons that lived in the parking lot, and everybody knew about it. So every now and then, like if you had leftover food, you would go out there on your break, and you would, you know, take pizza crusts or whatever you had. Hey, Pookie. And you would take pizza crusts or whatever, like outside, and then you would see, like sometimes the raccoon family would come to your car, like when you were leaving at night, or sometimes they would come up to the door. And they were, like, the mom was so cute because she would just come up and she'd be on her back legs and with her little hands out. Hey, what you got? Because she was so used to, like, people giving her stuff for her babies.
Con's rebooting his phone. Okay. How long have we been streaming for?
2 hours and 39 minutes.
2 hours and 39 minutes.
Tila says there are actually people who are extremely afraid of cats.
It's weird.
I do not understand that at all.
Yeah.
I don't understand people who are afraid of cats. I don't understand people who do not like cats. I don't understand. And, you know, yeah, I know there's dog people and cat people. You know, but I don't know. I like dogs too. But people, I don't know, like people feel like cats aren't, like they don't have the same personality as dogs, or they're not as, you know, friendly, or they're not as whatever. It's just, I think it depends on what cat you get.
She's doing poop.
It's just like a person.
She's doing poop.
Zach says, my mom hates cats because she's allergic and she thinks they're dirty.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
What are you looking at, Poop?
Cats aren't dirty.
What are you looking at?
Actually, if you could pick up Pookie right now and
come
smell her, she smells like baby powder.
Yeah.
She always smells like baby powder.
You smell like baby powder all the time.
Every now and then, if she's been running around outside, she'll smell a little bit sweaty, but still not bad. But she pretty much always smells like baby powder.
Yeah.
Beijing does too. They smell like baby powder to me. I think it's the litter box that people don't like the smell of. Which, you know.
I know that there are whole channels dedicated to cats, but we can't have a whole fucking stream dedicated to cats and fucking possums and shit.
Why not?
It doesn't work out that way. Besides, we're losing fucking people watching the show. All right. Is there now at this time? This would be a good time to ask you people: is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Is there any kind of subjects you want us to get on before we go ahead and check off?
Sorry, but
because we've been on for we've been on for nearly 2 hours. So
sorry, but he's talking about cats.
They're all talking about cats now.
Sophie said, "I was wary of cats before my big guy found me and changed my mind." See, that's another thing that I've heard before. I knew someone who was the dad of a friend of mine. And he said the same thing. He's like, you know, I always hated cats. I thought they were like really aloof, and it's like they didn't really have any time for us, and they were assholes and shit like that. That it's like, and then we got one. It's like, it wasn't my decision. You know, it was my wife or my girlfriend or whatever. He's like, and then I got one. He's like, and then I got it. Because it's like that cat was like, he was like my best bud. And I feel like if you don't like cats, I just feel like you haven't had the right cat. Because they're just like everything else. They have a personality, just like everyone else does. I mean, Pookie and Beijing have very, very different personalities. Beijing is a little bit aloof, but she's more like the princess type, where she's kind of like, all right, I will deign to let you pay attention to me for a moment, because I am so beautiful. Like, she is a little bit like that. But she's also kind of goofball. Like, she has like kind of she has a little bit of a prankster side. Every now and then you see it. Like, you'll come through the kitchen and she'll decide she's going to hide behind the wall and then jump up the wall into your face and be like, ha, I got you. You know what I mean? So she does that every now and then. But it's very rare, but she does do it sometimes. Pookie, on the other hand, is more like it's kind of hard to describe. She's kind of like a little court jester. You know what I mean? She always wants to follow you. She always wants to like know what you're doing. She's like, hey, can I get involved? Can I help you? Can I fuck it up in some way? And so it's like she always wants to be involved in what you're doing. And she's like really interactive. Like she always wants to like look at your face. She's like always wants to talk to you. She's always looking directly at you. She's always trying to like get a rise out of you. And she knows that if she does certain things, then it will get you to pay attention to her. So she's learned very well, like, how to do those things. So she'll kind of like, oh my goodness, did you jump up in the tree? You all right? She's so noisy. Like last night, she wanted to go outside again, even though she had been outside and it was too late. So we let her come in, we turned all the lights off, we took her little collar off or whatever. And then she kept like looking out the window. She kept looking back at Tom, looking out the window, looking back at Tom. She's like, man, me. And he's like, no, you can't go outside. And she's like, ma. And like, so she talks like that. And then like, if you don't pay attention to her, she like trundles over to the nightstand and she pops up, her little head pops up on the side. And then she looks at like, what can I knock off? Pow. And then she like knocks something off. And then she's like, and then she backs off and she like makes a little four-legged stance, like looking at you like, yeah, bring it. What are you going to do? You going to do something? You know what I mean? So she does that kind of shit. So, and I think I mentioned it before too, but she talks to herself in the mirror, which is very, very weird to me because I've never had a cat that did that before. But yeah, she jumps up on the bathroom counter, looks in the mirror very deliberately and goes, meow, meow, talks to herself, and then turns and looks at us. So I think she knows how a mirror works and what that does. What'd she do?
Just running around.
Did
she wanted to go out. She wanted to go out, but then she saw it was still raining. She's like, fuck all that.
She's like, no, I'm gonna get wet and stinky. Yeah, it was like, that's really weird. That kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it? I just kind of heard it, and then I was kind of like, oh, well, she'll probably want to come back in. But then she'll blame us because she thinks that's our fault that that's happening. Yeah, right?
Huh?
Sophie says, I still think I'm a hardcore dog person who happens to have cats as children and now appreciates them. That makes me happy to hear. I like dogs too, like I said. But I guess I always had cats growing up. I had one dog when I was a kid and I hated it. Because I thought it was stupid. And I didn't like... The thing I didn't like about dogs when I was a kid was that, one, they were always loud. They were always barking. Two, they're always jumping on you and drooling, and they were super needy. I don't know. Like, there was something that I didn't like about...
Well, they're real social, you know? They're
right.
Like...
I think that's kind of why I liked cats better, because even though they can come off as kind of aloof to some people, and like I said, it depends on what cat you get, because they all have their own little personalities, because Pookie is not aloof at all.
What's up, Poop?
See?
Yeah.
She just wants to be involved in whatever.
That's a dog-like cat, though.
She's very puppy-like.
Yeah.
But in a way that, like, she'll go off and sleep and she'll do her own thing. But she does kind of want to be... She's like, hey, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? She does kind of do that.
Yeah.
But that was one thing I didn't like about dogs is they felt like children in a way that they were always, like, up in your grill all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which... I was like, man, if I wanted kids, I would just have kids. Right. You know what I mean? I don't need that. Yeah, right? You seem like you're kind of like...
Yeah, cranky. I'm done. I'm done tonight. We've been on the show for about 2 hours. But
2 hours and 47 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and check out. If you want to continue to do the show, you go ahead and do it.
All right.
Okay.
Well, okay, bye.
Bye.
Are you going to take your movie? Or?
Yeah, I'll take the movie.
Okay.
I'll see you around.
You guys. All right. Well, I guess I got to go because...
No, whatever.
No.
You want to be on there forever, then go.
He's being a douche. All right. So, we'll see you guys on Saturday because he's obviously worn out. He's sick, you know. So I'm just going to pretend. Whatever. Yeah. So, again, we'll have, what do we have? We have Witching Hour tomorrow, we have a movie review on Friday, and then we'll be back on Saturday doing a live stream. Hopefully Tom will feel better by then, but thank you guys for dropping by tonight on this, again, drunken live stream. I can't believe how much it's raining. This is unbelievable. And we'll see you guys on Saturday. And thank you all for dropping by again. Bye.